Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with Twitter extraordinaire Matt Murray.
Hello.
The man that now owns Twitch, James Farley.
Hey.
And Sean.
I was thinking, what's he gonna do for me?
There's not enough about you. There's nothing really about you, is there?
Have I told you that most of my friends refer to me as the default Dark Souls character? That's my thing.
Yeah, welcome to the Computer Game Show. It's good to have you back this week. We've got lots to talk about. We should probably start with follow-up. Matt, this is your area.
It is my area of expertise. So much follow-up. I don't know where to start. I will start with Crash Bandicoot. We also did a couple weeks ago, I guess, and we were all a bit bemused about the fact that it had gone to number one and everyone was raving about it. Some people emailed, Dave Leddington tweeted in this week, and I just wanted to say, I mean, did none of us play?
Right,
you played, didn't you, Dave, when you were younger?
This ain't happening. We're going to do it.
It's not like it was a totally alien concept.
Stop. We're not doing this.
Is he dead? Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, that's great.
It's fucking shit. It just keeps dropping out.
Okay.
Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with Sean Bell.
Yo.
And Matt Murray.
Hello.
And James Farley.
Hello.
If you're listening to this a day late, I do apologise. We tried to record last night, which is our usual Monday night recording. The internet has been total shit, and it's been total shit for a while, but it looks like they fixed it. But my router is still buggered apparently, so they're sending me a new one. So this is, I'm not even 100% sure you're going to hear this. So this is a bit weird. This might be a dead show, but I think we're going to be all right. We seemed a hell of a lot more stable than we were last night. So
we've had a fascinating chat about ISPs that you all missed.
We also had a fascinating chat. Before the show. We also had a fascinating chat in WhatsApp group when all this come about, because, I'm going to have to question a few you here, because your commitment last night, firstly, James, you were shocking. Literally. It was
okay.
It seems to be, well, fuck it, we'll just not do one this week. No, well, hold on. Maybe if I can't do it tomorrow night, if my internet's still screwed, how about you do a 3-man show? No, fuck it, no, let's not do it, no. What was the deal with that?
Okay, first of all, if this had been my internet that was screwed, can you imagine the amount of abuse you'd have been giving me over that?
Okay, right, so let's deal with this point by point, because I saw that someone tweeted that in, so you've nicked that and you've not credited them.
It's absolutely true. You'd be on and on and on about it. You'd be
how is that
complaining,
true?
moaning. It's true.
What makes you think that's true?
Because you've done that before. When I've had problems with the connection, you've totally laid into me about it. Even though there's nothing I can do about it if that happens.
When have I done that?
See, again, what, do you want me to tell you which show number?
Yeah.
Out of the 63 that we've recorded.
Yes, I would love to know when I've physically had a go at you because your internet... If your internet connection doesn't work, it doesn't work. I have a go at you when you say, yeah, I've done a test recording, and then later on go, oh, it's not on mute. The mute doesn't work. Did you do a test recording? Yeah, but I didn't test that. I've also had a go at you for, deleting your files, for...
Never done that. When have I done that?
Would you remember when I was remotely accessing your computer and you closed down without saving?
That was a whole other thing. That was not. It wasn't deleting the files. That was another thing. We weren't going to talk about that again. You said that was over, and then you're bringing that up again.
Yeah, it was over, but then you're coming at me. Do you know what I mean? I only have a go at you when it's your fuck up. If it's your internet, it's your internet. We move on. We deal with it. I don't turn around and go, fuck it, no show.
No, but also, right, because the other thing
I'm the main part of the show, but that doesn't give you an excuse to just abandon it if I can't make it, does it? We got
fans.
All
set up. I got everything all ready, right, for recording this, because I have to do this in a garage, and it's really hot in there and horrible. And I lost a lot of meat the other week because of that. It's true. And the thing is, I didn't want to just waste time going through all that again. It's awful.
You didn't lose the meat because you set up in a garage. You lost the meat because you forgot to turn your freezer back on, James. Don't start blaming you.
I had another freezer-related disaster last night because of this as well.
I was about to say, I've just remembered we didn't tell you not to turn it back on.
It's not our responsibility, Sean.
I did say
No, I'm just saying,
time,
he did
this
ask
time wasn't
us
so
to
bad
remind him.
because I did remember to switch it back on again.
Yeah.
But I'd also put a can of Diet Coke in the freezer, because I was anticipating drinking it during the recording. I forgot about it, and I went back in this morning, and there was a bit of an explosion in there. And
Nice.
so, again, Chen's not happy about that because there's Coke all over the meat.
Marinated in Coke.
I was going to say, that's
good.
a thing, man. That's
Not with Diet Coke, it's not.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
If you were a qualified chef, mate, people pay a lot of money for what you created in that freezer last night.
That's through the head.
Okay, go on. So you done with your point now?
I'm pretty much done. Yeah, I just think if the boot was on the other foot, I think that we'd be having a very different conversation here.
We have got to talk to you about your streak. There's been 2 episodes since our last one, I think. And we will get to that, but I think you're going to talk about Heavy Rain again in your what you've been playing bit, are you?
Yeah, I'm planning to. Yeah.
What you been playing?
What you been
playing, James? Don't know why you say it like that.
I'm playing Heavy Rain, boss.
Oh, did I do good, boss?
So what have we got on the old feedback there, Matt? What's in front of you? What have our fans been saying?
Fans, I mean, so many fans.
Our super fans,
listeners. They're just listeners now. On the subject of Crash Bandicoot being a big pile of wank, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago, it obviously stormed the charts. Everyone's buying it apparently, and none of us can really understand why. Dave Leddington tweeted in saying, "I just wanted to say I 100% agree with you guys about Crash. It's never been a good game." Shawnee Boy, I believe that's how you pronounce the name, responded, "Agreed, total bag of shite."
Correct.
I don't agree with that. I still, I remember having fun times playing those games. I was a child.
Yeah, when you were a stupid child.
I know, but who cares? It's like the amount of people that was like, I've said, oh yeah, we're going to go and see Cars 3 at the weekend, and everyone was going, Cars is shit! Yeah, I know, mate, but my son's got a Lightning McQueen hat and a Lightning McQueen t-shirt and a Lightning McQueen shorts. He wants to go and see Lightning McQueen. Shut up.
I mean, it is shit though. I mean,
I was shocked this week. The first time, should we do this? Because I mentioned this in
let's move on.
Okay.
Farley versus Turnip. This loads of people were talking about this last week. Obviously, in the last couple of weeks about the Titanfall 2 discussion. James famously said he liked the game, it was innovative, but he was very disappointed with the length of the game. Dave then argued for about half an hour, then we moved on. Thomas Griffin.
Standard.
I'll be on hashtag
Are you just telling them what happened on the show there?
Well, I'm recapping, so the next few tweets have context.
Go back and listen to it. Go on. Yeah, go on. Go.
I'll be on... This is Thomas Griffin. I'll be on hashtag Team Farley if I wasn't so afraid of David's wrath. So Team Turn as it is. That's weak. Thomas Griffin, we don't like weak
basically
hands.
Scared of you, David.
Yeah, he's scared of you.
He ain't the only
Thomas, grow a pair. Phil Nicklin. Dave was banging on about Titanfall 2 for about 5 to 6 weeks in a row, and he doesn't think he ever sold it to James. Hashtag Team Farley.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to sell it to James. I'm giving my opinion on the game. Is that not... Am I not allowed to do that?
There's more. Darth Gamer, hashtag Team Farley here. Big Davy Turnip oversold Tits 2 big time. Tits 1 was more enjoyable. Fun game, fact.
He called the game... It's just to double check. He called the game Tits.
Tits 2.
James, that's the company you're keeping in there, mate. So I ain't too worried about him having a pop at me. He's calling it Tits, for fuck's sake.
I mean, it could have been... It's probably autocorrect.
I don't want to start another argument again about this. It's ridiculous.
Tom, you played 7 hours of that game.
Tom Doughty, I believe it's okay. Tom Doughty or Rokaku Police on Twitter, seeing as they've both been recorded pooing themselves, I'm hashtag Team Bell.
Yes.
Who's been recorded pooing themselves?
Well,
neither of us have.
You and James.
I mean, where's the evidence?
I've not had a chance to edit the footage together yet. It's been...
Yeah, that is quite funny as well.
Busy couple of weeks.
Didn't you record a new episode the other night?
Mate, we recorded 2.
Brilliant. And you're holding it all back because you can't be bothered to get your ass
out before the podcast ends?
I mean, the video's still... I think what's going to happen is because it's just not entertaining just listening to the audio. Like, you have to see it. So I think I'm going to
that's not why it's not entertaining. That's not the reason. It might be the hosts.
So yeah, so basically we've done like an episode which is just us sort of chatting about it and sort of recapping on it, and then I think the video still exists. Some people are like, oh yeah, I'm going to watch all 24 hours of it. Like, probably don't. I mean, I might try and edit like some highlights together.
To zero regard to anyone that was watching that stream. I agree with Sean there. Don't watch it. My bits were good. And as you'll see, their little lie there doesn't hold up in court. Go on.
Jake Del Toro, saying you really enjoyed the game, but making it sound like you hate it is peak Farley. Which I've got to agree with now.
James does that all the time. He goes, what happens? He really enjoys a game, so he wants to get the negatives out of the way. And then once that ball starts rolling down the hill, that's it. He can't stop it. The negatives just spews out of him.
I'll start with negatives. It's 2:30 in the morning. We'll stop there. We'll come back to the positives another time.
But it's because I like to try and look at things in a balanced way. You know, I like to sort of show...
No, but you're not balancing it with the positive. You're getting the other side.
The positive stuff's boring, isn't it?
It's like you sitting on a seesaw on your own in the rain. Like,
I'm balancing it.
Go on.
Earthworm Jim came up last week. Laro on Twitter, my boy, loves Earthworm Jim. Earthworm Jim 2, Earthworm Jim 1 and 2 were both phenomenal gaming experiences. Now, didn't they bring back Earthworm Jim a few years ago, or did I misremember?
They did an HD version of Earthworm Jim.
Yeah. I did love the first one on Mega Drive. It was insanely good.
But I don't remember this coming up. What did we say about it?
I think maybe we're talking about old franchises are referring to after we talked about...
No, it wasn't. It was one of the
Crash.
Listeners brought it up and said that, and then compared Crash to Earthworm Jim.
Oh, right. Oh, no, that's not fair.
It's not fair.
Heavy Rain Lies is the next subject. Mike Petit 89. Yeah, I didn't listen to the end of last week's pod, and I've already told several people since you can definitely save Jason for our lead.
I want to know who the people are. Guys,
this was after a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about Heavy Rain to James, obviously, and Dave said to James that you can save Jason. Oh my
God, well, Jesus, are we going to just like his feedback, regurgitating?
I heard you do this
previously on the computer game,
and I didn't pull you up on it.
Look, if it's the first time you're listening to the show, catch up. Like, we're not spending time going
Dave,
through.
I'm going to remember that because you've literally done that in the last couple of weeks. We'll forget that. Okay. Matt Murray totally fucked up last week. I was talking about Last of Us Left Behind. Gary Dutton got in touch. Bloody hell, Matt undersold the hell out of Left Behind's story. It's better than the main story. It deals with the last scene between Ellie and Joel, where she mentions her friend who got infected but wasn't immune. It shows the relationship and delves into why Ellie is like she is. Essentially, it's pretty much essential if you love Last of Us. Now, I do love Last of Us, but maybe my memory of the original story and certainly the specifically towards the end is maybe a little bit hazy. But
Matt, can I still recommend. Did you actually finish the game? Because you know you've got like a history of like starting stuff but like not finishing it.
Yeah, I definitely did. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
A bit of a low blow there out of nowhere, wasn't it? Proper Farley is up for it tonight.
One of my favourite games of all time, and I did finish it, unlike Michael Fox. Poor editing. This is one for you, Dave. Maybe I should keep this offline, but whatever. Cammy Toeman's not happy. Whoever edits the pod, please normalise or compress the final file, because it's almost so much quieter than every other podcast out there. Dave?
What it is, that's a GarageBand thing. That's always been the case. It seems slightly lower in volume. There's not much I could do about it. I've looked for several ways of doing it. I think it's a normalizing feature. I'll try turning it off this week and see if that makes a difference. The problem is, when you change any setting in any of the process of editing a podcast, as Sean, you probably well know, what it spits out at the end could be absolutely horrific. Yep. So you try and not tinkering with things. But I'll keep that in mind. If that is genuinely a problem, I'll see if I can sort that for you. But I can't guarantee it'll be this week, but I'll give it a go.
The other bit of feedback, which I've haven't added to our doc, because I didn't want Dave to have any run-up, is Dave's monumental fuck-up on threes. in the last week.
Oh God! I mean, I assume we were going to be talking about that when we were streaming, but no, because don't you want to talk about Freeze this week?
I guess we could do. I mean, we've got some feedback. I guess we'll save that for later in the show. If you want
save that for the Freeze chat,
if you want to tweet us, it's at ComputerGamePod, or email any feedback, good or bad, mostly bad. Who cares? It's thecomputergameshow@gmail.com.
Cool. News. Let's hear the news.
Is there any news?
I did struggle. Right, so first up, the original new 3DS. They've just stopped making them.
It's a shame.
Nowhere. I mean, it was weird because everyone sort of misinterpreted this, and everyone was like, oh shit, so they've been in the 3DS. Like, no, there's the first new 3DS, not the XL.
There has only been one new 3DS, right?
No, just there's the same model, just in different sizes, basically.
Yeah, so there's the new 3DS, there's a new 3DS XL, and then there's the new 2DS XL,
yeah,
right? And a normal new 2DS, I think. And basically, no one gives a shit about the 3D anymore. So I think basically the new 2DS is doing all right. So well, what's the point doing the new?
Yeah, it can't be selling
anymore.
Why is this a shame, James?
It's a shame because it's a nice machine. Like it looks,
but it's in Japan.
Nice. No, it's not. No, it's worldwide. They're doing this now.
Oh,
it's
shit.
not just Japan.
It looks nice, but it doesn't. Nothing takes advantage of it.
No, but because it's the same for the other machines that are coming out. Like this, they're not binning the whole new 3DS line. It's just they're getting rid of this model. It's the games are still going to be. Like the other games.
It's the most fascinating thing about the 3DS to me, like over its lifetime, is the fact that it came out and was sold on the fact that it's 3D. And yet now, with the way they've redesigned it and now stopping production of this one, it's like they're admitting that they know everyone that doesn't give a shit about the 3D anymore.
Yeah, but that's only following the trend of the market, right?
Yeah, no, it's good.
A big part of its initial success was that it was 3D without glasses. And at the time, the 3D was like huge. Yeah. And it was like, what? I don't need glasses. I cannot believe it.
But do you know what I mean? It's like if they went, we're doing a new PS4 Pro and it doesn't do 4K.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Like everyone's over it. It doesn't matter. It's
I get it. Not really, but
I think it's a shame because I just prefer the size of that one. I don't like the XL ones because I just think they're too massive.
Do you own one?
Yeah.
Well, that's not a problem then, is it?
No, it's not.
It's not a shame then, James.
Well, no,
you've already got one. You're laughing, and it's probably worth more now.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey,
it's an investment now.
Yeah, you got a piece of gaming history. The new 3DS. When I'm talking to my grandkids about what console that they should be trying to track down, it will be the new 3DS. What, the XL one? No, not the XL one, the original new 3DS.
What happens if mine breaks? I can't buy another one, can I?
Yeah, but do you play it enough?
Well,
well. Yeah, I mean, let's face it, they're not going to keep making them if no one's buying them, and I assume that's what this is.
Yeah, I think it's just shocked people because like sometimes it feels like like the PS4 was out and then it's like, oh, they're going to stop making PS2s next week, and you're like, oh, they're still making them. Like it always feels like the hardware gets produced way longer than you would actually expect. Like whenever this news comes out, it's usually well into. It's like fucking 2 generations later or whatever, whereas I don't know, this just sort of caught people off guard, I guess. But. Yeah,
but I kind of think, it's different for the 3DS because there's so many different strands of that console. Yeah, because
they've iterated on it so much.
They've literally just seen which one's selling the least and have dropped that model. So it makes perfect sense.
If you want a 3DS, the only one available now is the new 3DS XL, and apart from that, it's the 2DS.
Yep.
XL.
Is it?
Yeah.
XL. Is a 2DS only XL size?
No, there is another 2DS as well. Yeah. I don't know if they're still doing it, but
it's the other flat one, right?
But can you get clamshell?
Sorry, the new one is the clamshell design, but it just doesn't do 3D. Yeah.
Because the other one, the original 2DS is like the original 3DS hardware, as in it's not like upgraded processor or anything like that. It's only the XL one. I think has got that.
But can you get the new clamshell 2DS in 2 sizes, or is that just one size as well?
Yes, just in one size.
Oh, I thought it was... fucking hell. I thought it was 2 sizes.
Fucking hell, this is unbelievable.
I just want a simple answer. Jesus. Okay, move on.
Oh, no, it's not that. I'm not blaming anyone here. It's just that, fucking hell, there is... When you've got to go... So is the new 2DS XL the one, or is it the 2DS? But the 3DS, is that still... How about the 3DS XL? Is that
the main thing to remember is that none of them come with a fucking charger. That's all you need to know.
Does the Galaxy version still exist? Yes or no, Nintendo?
It does, yeah. It comes with a copy of Super Mario Galaxy.
Shut up. Not the story anyone cares about. Go on, next.
Dickhead owner of Sports Direct, Mike Ashley, has bought a shitload of shares in Game.
An excellent tweet from Matt after off the back of this.
Oh, I
didn't get round to saying that because you did it during work hours, but Matt's F0 hours contract was
I had
was
so
a good
more.
gag.
I was like, do I do Resident Evil 0? Yeah.
This is probably good for the company Game.
Yeah, but it's not, is it? It's not good for us, though. It's going to continue, and it's going to get worse, probably.
I don't know. Sports Direct is pretty good. I mean,
as a consumer, yeah, it's fucking great. It's one of those
absolute
places.
disgrace of a company. but my word, do I get cheap clothes in there? So things are roundabouts.
Do you reckon Game are going to have closing down sales every week? Because everyone said that was the best time in Game's history.
That's how they started Sports Direct, didn't they? Because they changed their name like every week because it was like Sports World, Sports Shop, and they just kept closing down.
I would love it if game stores got renovated to look exactly like Sports Direct. So there's like games up to the ceiling you can't get.
Do you reckon they get right? Because in Sports Direct, they have like a lot of Caramore stuff, for example, which isn't actually stuff made by Caramore. They just bought the name when it was failing, and then you just slap it on any old shit because it's a respected brand. Do you reckon Game are now going to like buy IO Interactive, sack everyone, and then just then just get loads of shit games and badge them with IO Interactive?
Yeah, they're going to buy the name Sega and say, "Here's the Saturn 2."
No, they won't. They'll buy Atari. It's because that's the one that always seems to get bought, and they just slap everything on that.
There's also a chance now that Game might sponsor a football stadium, and I'm praying it ain't us. That would be a nightmare.
Yeah, he owns 25.75% of the company now, which is presumably a considerable fucking amount. I don't really know how these things
Why
work.
Would you ever want that? I wonder how much that company is worth.
Well, apparently shares went down after he made the purchase. So
we're all in this in.
What could that mean?
Okay, fine. Yep.
And yeah, speaking of Atari are unveiling a new console, lads. and it looks like they're going to be crowdfunding it.
Of course they are.
And it's just like, right, okay, so the design of it I actually quite like. It's new and it's tiny and it looks okay, but it's got the sort of hints of the original Atari ST design. It's got like the sort of wood panel finish on a bit of it. But they've just like, I don't know if this was actually, so this was officially revealed, but they're just like,
sorry, was that Atari, is this Atari STE or Atari 2600?
I don't fucking know. It's before my time.
The STE was the grey thing with the grills at the top.
Oh, Jesus, no, not that
2600 was the brown.
Yeah, the black and brown one. Yeah, it sort of copies that, but actually looks okay.
This Eurogamer story is really funny.
It's so confusing, isn't it?
Well, the best bit is the update where it says, like, according to the press release, to limit risk taking, this product will initially be launched within the framework of a crowdfunding campaign. To limit risk taking, apart from the people that back it, obviously.
Yeah, to limit our risk taking and pass that entirely over to the consumer. We're going to do a crowdfunding campaign, but it's the way that they're really confused as to what it actually does. Like they're like, oh yeah, it'll play like old and new stuff. So it's not like a SNES Mini deal. It seems like they actually want it to be like a new console.
This is pure Kickstarter, isn't it?
It is.
Keep everything vague. Don't explain what anything does. Take their money and work it out later.
Yeah.
Is it going to play Jaguar games? That's all I care about. Am I going to be able to play Cybermorph on this?
It's a classic. So yeah, it's fucking God knows what's going on there, man. I mean, I can't imagine anyone taking it seriously because even anyone who's nostalgic for Atari knows that the current Atari is just a fucking ghost. So yeah.
See,
bizarre.
From looking at like what they've said it's got like an SD card slot, it's got a HDMI and 4 USB ports. And they said it's going to like run like classic gaming content and then also like current gaming content. Yeah. This sounds like an Ouya. but with Atari
even more
games.
doomed.
Yeah, basically.
I mean,
are they going to be setting up stall outside of E3
Oh,
next year?
yeah. I'm going to queue
in
up for
the
two
car
of them.
park.
The thing is, I cannot give less of a shit about this, frankly. It's going to have a £5 million total on Kickstarter. It's not going to hit it.
No.
This is not for me. I mean, I guess
people are skeptical enough about video game Kickstarters just for games that only ask you for, £20. Never mind actual hardware. Like, it's just, I can't see this going anywhere, to be honest.
Speaking of consoles like this, Matt was talking about how he wished Sega did more of this sort of stuff. And I was on...
what I said was, I said that I want them to come back into the console hardware space.
Yeah. So I was on Facebook the other day and it chucked up, like ads of things that you searched. And it threw up this... There is a Sega-produced... handheld Mega Drive console with 90 games on it, including Mortal Kombat, like the Mortal Kombat games, and it was £50, and it's a proper handheld device. And I'm thinking, has Matt bought one of these? As he bollocks, he's all chat, he's all mouth. I'm Sega, yeah, I'll buy anything they put out.
I did not. Well, I might have said that.
But then, isn't it fascinating that wasn't a bigger deal that exists? Like,
I know,
yeah,
because
what the fuck? About it.
I kind of feel sorry for him. Like, they must have looked at like the announcement for the SNES Mini and just gone, "Oh, we've made ours handheld."
So they burned so much goodwill over the years that it's
they really have. Yeah,
Not
Sega's
with me,
back,
boys.
guys.
Not
We've
with
gone
me.
we've gone back to Sonic's roots. Have you? No.
I am hearing some buzz around this Sonic. Is it Sonic Mania? Is that
Yes.
So Sonic Mania is that
The Sonic Cycle.
It is the
I
Sonic
know that.
side.
yeah, but
But it's
people
Sonic-
have played this and they say it's
Yeah.
all right.
Is Sonic Mania the one that's basically old style but new levels?
Yeah,
there's two,
that
isn't
one's
there?
supposed to be good, but then the other one is supposed to be awful.
What's the
It's-
other one
it's-
called? Do we know?
The other one's the 3D kind of one, which once again,
Obviously
proves it
that's going to be shit.
But yeah,
I read a review of the new Sonic game coming out. It was written by Mr. Sam Eager. So, and he's absolutely loving it. Spells out Sega for those
Yeah, I
of
got
you
it,
that didn't quite
Right,
get
you
that.
should have said I love
Matt and
Japanese
James
games.
He'd overlooked that. Right, okay, fine. That's enough news now. We've been
Just
filled
quickly,
with
I didn't
news.
stick this in the plan.
fuck.
Just, it won't take a second and you'll like it.
Go on.
It's good because you tweeted it and that's why I know about it. Titanfall
cool.
2 is getting that Frontier Defense mode.
Bang up for that.
Yeah,
I'm well
can't
up
wait,
for
man.
getting back into tights. This
Yeah.
is
what
just
is that exactly?
So that's basically your wave-based horde mode, where you just team up with like 3 other people and you're just blasting away at AI goons, and it's fucking great. Well, it was good in the first one.
AKA the mode that you play a few rounds of before you play proper tights.
Yeah.
And I'm not dissing it. That's because we liked it. Like,
Yeah.
if we didn't like it, we wouldn't play it at all. But you play a few rounds of that and go, right, should we get going now? Yeah. Like, it's a good game mode.
Are you excited about that, James?
ecstatic. Yeah. It's,
How long is each wave? Right. Okay. Fine. Let's do what you've been playing, and we'll start with Matt this week.
I've played a lot of games this week. We're going to start with the obvious one, No Man's Sky.
Whoa.
What? I saw this.
Yeah, I saw
And
this as well. I was
Well,
curious.
this is what was funny. I went into the Google Docs to put my games in, and I saw that Sean was in there adding his games in. Did you see what I did next to match No Man's Sky?
I've seen it now, yeah.
I thought you were seeing it because when you're all in there, you can see people type as they type. Yeah. I was just underneath your cursor going, what the fuck? Why?
What I'm going to presume you guys haven't heard of the massive ARG that's happening currently around No Man's Sky.
No.
No, it's been going on for weeks. Possibly,
Successful
I guess,
marketing
months.
campaign.
Possibly months. Because I mean, it's mostly obviously kicking off on the Reddit. But yeah, essentially, weeks ago there was prominent people in the No Man's Sky community. I don't know who that is. I'm going to assume people on Reddit, maybe streamers, who knows. But prominent people were sent.
Sean Murray
and his family were sent. They were sent basically 16 cassette tapes. Originally, that's how the whole thing started. Or they were aware 16 cassette tapes were out there, and then eventually people were coming forward saying, "I've got one," and we've collected 14 of them. Who are the other 2? And eventually, all 16 were sort of found, as it were. And on those, there was some sounds. And basically, that's the start of the ARG. And there's been, websites, there's been audio files, there's been all sorts of weird code and images, people been decoding.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And we've heard nothing about any of this.
I know, I was about to say,
unless you're part of the community, I don't think you're going to.
Yeah.
Anyway, it all seems to be leading towards 1.3, which is the next big No Man's Sky patch. And loads of people are suggesting that's going to have portals. It potentially have some multiplayer stuff. It seems like they're teasing quite a lot. They're also sending out 10,000 physical Atlas level 4 cards or something if you sign up to a survey. And anyway, but I've been reading that and following that on the Reddit, and I thought, I might get back into it. I do see lots of people that the Reddit now is way less toxic. People are really psyched about it. Loads of people are coming back and posting pictures, and I thought, I haven't played for a long time. And I was really interested. I was watching a fair few videos catching up on the ARG, and I thought, I'll play it. So I started playing it, and actually there's someone listened to the show I was talking to about No Man's Sky, because he's put like 1,700 hours into it, and I still see him tweeting pictures of that game. And I said, what do I do? And he basically recommended I deleted my save and start again, just because so much has happened, so much has changed in the game. So I don't know how many hours I put in originally. It's probably only like 10, maybe 15, but certainly less than 20. But I thought, if it means getting the experience as I should do, I'll do that. So I deleted my save and I've restarted. I will say, first of all, it looks amazing. I mean, obviously I've since got a new TV, and I think it looks absolutely great. I don't know if they've done any graphical upgrades or anything, but it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
What, is it in 4K now or no?
Yeah, it's 4K. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So it looks really good. And I mean, so I've only probably put about 7 hours into it since, and I've only done my first jump, but I'm really enjoying it. It's really good to get back to it. I don't know how long I'll stay around. I'll almost certainly stay around to this rumoured patch in August. But it looks great. It's really fun. It's really hard to say whether they've refined anything. I'm sure they probably have, but it's been so long since I last played it, I can't really tell. I mean, I on my first planet, I was still sort of stuck, or on the second planet, still stuck trying to find a certain material, a certain mineral to craft the warp drives and this and that. But it's really good. And actually, I feel like I've got less pressure on me to enjoy it or play it or to ridicule it or whatever's happening. It was such a crazy time when that game first launched, with all the hype and the disappointment and the, is this really it? Sort of stuff. But now I can just enjoy it for what it is. And I've only, like I said, I've only put 7 hours into it. But I played a bit last night, and I feel like I'm going to keep digging away at it, and it's just really fun. I'm really enjoying it again, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this patch is.
Yeah, it's important to remember. Like when I first played that game, the first, God knows how many hours I put into it, I really did enjoy it, and I was thinking there is something here. It's not quite what I wanted, but there is something here, and I was having a good time playing it, no doubt about it. But there was sort of a brick wall moment where I was kind of like, oh, mate, okay, I'm done with this now. It feels like I'm not really progressing. There's no, I don't know. I sort of just fell off it really hard. And there's been a few games that have done that to me. But again, when I initially played it, I was like, actually, this is actually quite fun.
Yeah.
So I'm not totally surprised. There's now base building. I haven't started doing that yet, but you need to basically meet people on their space stations and recruit them. I think they have various sort of skill sets, and you have to recruit them guys, and then build a base on your home planet. I haven't done that yet. I'm going to wait and do another jump or so and get a bit more money. There's also vehicles which you can do. It feels like the creatures on each of the planets feel far more varied, and they look like they're like they look like they're designed to look how they are, rather than it's very clearly just loads of different parts of creatures stuck together with this algorithm. It just feels like they've improved that somewhat. They feel like they're designed to look that way, but also really, really unique. So I'm super enjoying it. I'm looking forward to seeing what base build is like. It's also got a photo mode, which it looks great. Taking these there's some amazing shots on the subreddit, which I've been enjoying, and I'm excited to see what his potential portals could be. Obviously, I know none of you guys are playing it anymore, but I would be interested to see what this multiplayer could be, or what this patch could be. I mean,
they've been obviously teasing this patch or talking about it with this ARG stuff, and a lot of work's gone into it, and it's been going on for, I'd say, probably at least 3 weeks. I mean, I wasn't there for day one, but it could be as long as a month of this ARG stuff, rumoured for an August release, so there's arguably another 2 to 3 weeks of this. It feels like they're teasing it a lot, and I like to think they've learned from the previous lessons, so maybe it's a big thing, who knows, but I know the community are really excited, and the community is way more positive. There's posts every day online saying, do I get back into it, and I want to get back into it, or I've got back into it and I'm really enjoying it, and I'm definitely one of those people.
Yeah.
There's I don't know why I'm asking. You should probably explain what ARG stuff is. I only know because we were talking about this not too long ago. But for those of you people that don't really know what you're talking about,
it's alternate reality game is what it stands for. Basically, what it means is it's a giant treasure. A giant treasure hunt, essentially, using things from the real world. So in this case, Hello Games have created actual websites which activate on certain days. They might ask for a password. Maybe that password will take you to a QR. I know this is an example, a QR code. Just scan that. Maybe that'll take you to another website. Like I said, this also used real cassettes which people were playing. I presume also having to find cassette players, and on those there was also weird sounds which they decoded on another website that was somehow linked or found or whatever. They these audio clips were appearing every other day, and the audio clips were saying weird sort of mumbo jumbo about I can't even describe it, but it was using English words, but it's just talking about loads of space mumbo jumbo and traveling and this, that, and other. But in the background, someone realized that there was actually Morse code. And one of the Morse code messages had a date, and then someone had to change their clock on their PlayStation to get like a code. It was insane. There's loads of really good stuff, and this has been going on for ages. I mean, I definitely enjoyed previous ARGs. I'm sure Valve did a massive one for Portal 1 or Portal 2 ages and ages ago, and they're always really, really fun to follow. There's loads of great YouTube videos of this one where people have been sort of recapping all the stuff that's been happening. But I think the ARG is actually called Waking Titan. I think you can go to wakingtitan.com and there were updates. It feels like every other day, and it asks you for a password and sign up for things. And the saga is going and going and going. So I'm look forward to seeing what happens next with that. But No Man's Sky, everyone should get back into it. It's good fun.
Yeah, well, because I went back when
they
added
back pretty recently, didn't you, Sean? I remember you saying.
Yeah, but I went back when they added the base building stuff, and that was really cool. Like, it was fascinating that a game all about traveling suddenly became much more enjoyable, when it was like, right, here's your home planet, stay here. Or not stay here, but you had this base to return to, and you would go out and you go to other planets, find things, and then you'd always come back. And that felt really cool. Like, suddenly it didn't feel like totally aimless anymore. Like, you actually learned, your local solar system and where you could get certain resources nearby and stuff. And that was really smart. I went back again when they added the vehicle stuff. But it was just like, okay, you can make this station now, go and find a guy to staff it. And I was like, do you know what? I'm going to wait until 1.3 comes out and then reset and start again. Because I was just like, if I'd still been playing it a lot when it was like, right, now go find a guy for your new vehicle station and probably loads of resources as well, I'd have still been in the mindset for it and have been like, right, cool, I know where I can get him, but I'd just forgotten everything. I was like, I'm going to learn it. I'm going to learn it all again. I'm going to get a vehicle and go, right, this is cool, and then probably stop again. So I was like, I'll just wait until it's done,
Yeah, that's why I'm sort of happy I did restart. I was umming and ahhing, thinking, well, I felt like I was in a good place last time, but after talking to people online and reading everyone's suggestion was just basically start again because because it's just easier, and you would have forgot all the systems and whatnot. But if anyone's thinking about getting back into it, and then obviously you put hundreds and hundreds and potentially thousands of hours into it, I would definitely recommend getting back and just removing your save and starting again. But good fun.
But yeah, it's like you say, it's nice being able to play it again without that pressure.
Without the pressure. Yeah.
I mean, God help anyone who had to review it back in the day, because it was just impossible to have an honest reaction to it. Like, it was just insane.
About that, I mean, I
don't know. There's no way there was so much pressure on what this game was meant to be, should be, even the history leading up to launch. I mean, unless you're living under a rock and then said, review this game based on what you see. It's impossible for anyone.
But I mean, from the criticisms that I read during that, the vast majority of them were like bang on.
Yeah.
You know, it was fucked when it came out.
Yeah.
It was totally fucked, and it wasn't what we were told it was going to be. And although some of that was, you know, it wasn't people were saying we were lied to. I'm not 100% on board with that, but I do understand why people were upset about it.
Well, that was the thing, wasn't it? It was you wanted to be like, look, here are the things that are legitimately wrong with it, and I am kind of pissed off, but you didn't want to be in the camp of people who wanted Sean Murray dead. So it's like,
no, you didn't want to do that.
It felt like there was very little space to just be reasonable in the middle, you know?
But I mean,
there is if you're living in your own world, though.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't worry about people, then,
sure. Yeah.
you know, it's not an issue.
I will say, even back then, I thought the premise was amazing, and playing it now, it's still just really super cool to see this massive galaxy, to zoom between planet to planet, to see, you know, meet the various people on these space stations, and see the different, you know, creatures and wildlife and stuff on these planets. It also feels like the planet design is much improved. Like, it feels like the algorithm must have been cleaned up in some way, because you see much more varied landscapes. You see huge caves, you see huge mountains, you see all sorts of stuff. Whereas I do remember launch, it felt very flat, and then what wasn't flat, it just looked very clearly built by an algorithm. Whereas now it feels much more natural, and
because they really dialed up the sort of terrain generation as well. With, I think it might have been before the base building update, but at some point. They sort of made it so there were like actual mountains and rivers and caverns and stuff, and it was really good.
James, now you've got PS4, are you interested in giving it a go?
Well, this is the game that I bought the PS4 for.
Yeah, oh right, that's right.
What?
Nothing. Go on. Well, that's right. Well, so did you not play it then?
Well, you know I did. We moaned about it ages ago.
I can't. Sorry, I can't. I usually tune out.
This is why I recap, Dave. For you more than the listeners.
So, would you be interested in going back to it then?
Yeah, I have been considering going back to it actually, because I don't know, Matt. Does it still feel like one of those kind of games that's just nice to sort of like relax to? Is that
definitely? Yeah.
This is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, again, the only sort of annoyance is, you know, you start shooting stuff and then there's those things fly over to and try and take you out. But no, it just traversing the landscape, and I haven't even got a vehicle yet, but just seeing what planets you land on. It's still impressive as far going straight from space into the atmosphere and landing on a planet, and the planets feel massive. And yeah, I still think that's impressive and fun to experience. The music's still great. And if there is like a Portals or multiplayer or something that they seem to be teasing, that could be really fascinating.
It could. I mean, that would be what tips me over the edge to get back on. If there's some sort of co-op stuff, then I'm there. Absolutely no doubt. I just wonder who's funding it, why they're funding it, because it's not like they're going to make a lot of money out of it.
It sold tons of copies.
It did.
They probably do have money for
it. But it ain't going to continue to sell tons of copies, is it?
A lot of them got traded
but if they keep improving it.
Have you seen those pictures of like in game or whatever, where there's just like a rack and it's just all No Man's Skies? It's I
mean, that's because that's been the other thing.
Sony have already got the money.
That, like,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, true. But like over the last sort of, I don't know, like 9 months, occasionally you get someone being like, "I've just seen it for like 20 quid. Is it worth a go?" Yeah, totally. Like, part of the resentment was like, "I've just paid 50 quid for this and it's not even finished." Whereas now, it's a bit like the old Drive Club situation where everyone who bought it at launch fucking loathed it. But then there was 6 months later, there was a ton of people who got it for about 15 quid in a sale. I'm like, guys, this is wicked. What's wrong with you? It's great. Just because it had tons of patches and was loads cheaper. So, yeah, definitely.
I reckon they're going to keep working on this for years.
Yeah.
And then, I think it will eventually be a fantastic game. But so far, I'm enjoying it nonetheless.
Next game.
For me, or should we move on?
No, you.
I was playing, after David decided to talk about Threes and do a little live stream, which we'll talk about in a minute. I played the game Threes on iOS.
It's good, isn't it?
But it is very good.
Have I ever sold it? 'Cause...
This, I started playing it because Dave thought he'd celebrate playing his 10,000th game by streaming that game online. And I'm going to describe it going down as an unmitigated disaster.
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen some fuck ups in my time, Dave, but that was hilarious. So
absolutely.
Do you want to explain what happened?
Well, what happened was, I was thinking, I usually whenever I play Freeze, I give myself a little target that if I get 10,000 points in a game, that's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. And I can just chalk that down as to acceptable Freeze behaviour. But these days I'm regularly getting over 20,000, so I thought, okay, I'll up that 20,000, and I'll say that's okay. Hopefully I'll get more, but let's just see how it goes. All of a sudden, for starters, I was getting well nervous, and I've got no idea why. I think it's because playing Freeze is such a personal thing for me. I think I've told the story on this before, so I won't bore you with it again, but I for some reason, Freeze is just very personal to me, and I play it all the time. So then broadcasting that and trying to explain my thought process suddenly become extremely difficult, and I was aware that a few people were watching, and I got very embarrassed about the whole thing. Then it was just a really hard game. It kept throwing up loads of blue and reds, and that's never good. And I'm thinking, and I nearly got stuck really early on, and I managed to find my way out of it. Then I nearly got stuck again, and I thought, okay, this is getting harder. This is getting a lot harder. Why is this keep throwing up the wrong tiles? Okay, and then I got stuck with almost a full screen, and I thought, I need to act fast. I need to think about this. So I stopped. I came up with a plan. I needed to swipe down, right to get out of my current situation and hope the right tiles come up. But as I moved my thumb across the screen to the middle to slide it down, it moved it left, like the thumb brushed the screen and it moved it left, so it was like a instant death. And I was like, yeah, and I mean, there's no excuses. It was, I got 7,000 points, which to some people isn't absolutely appalling.
It was absolutely hilarious. I mean, the video is on our YouTube channel now, so I implore you to go and watch it.
Yeah.
But Dave, you at some points you didn't even know how the rules worked. You seemed so confused.
I didn't know what. Sorry.
At some points, you actually forgot how to play it. You're trying to describe it. You're like, I doesn't do that. I'm not sure. You seem confused about how the game played.
Well, no,
even though you played 10,000 games.
That's not true, because we'll talk to that as well. I mean, we'll talk about that as well, because it wasn't that I'd forgotten. It was that I didn't really know how to articulate my point of, yeah, it's not really about it's not really about clearing tiles. It's about stringing them together and so on and that. But what was confusing me was how many coloured tiles it was flinging up on the screen, and I was like, this isn't working, because usually it gives me a few number threes, and that makes it a lot easier to sort of string things together. But it's really like you get games like that because it's all random on what it chucks up next. It sometimes they're just incredibly difficult games. What I got a little bit narked about was Matt. He's like a dog with a bone. Obviously, it was very funny. It was a complete fuck up. I completely ruined my 10,000th game, right? Totally fine with that. Then, so Matt put up some tweets about how I haven't fucked anything this bad since, etc., or whatever he said. And I thought, yeah, that's funny.
Really
yeah.
Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, it was brilliant stuff. But then he just went, he doesn't know how to play the game. David's shit at Freeze. And I thought, hold on, whoa, Matt. Let's not be silly here, because, I'm pretty good at Freeze. I fucked that one totally. Let's not go silly. And then I sent out a tweet on our thing saying, okay, I challenge Matt to try and beat my top score. This is my current top score. And then he sent me a message saying, here's my score, 1,980. It begins, and I went, Matt, 1,980 is fucking dog shit. Well, shut up! I haven't played it for 10,000 games. Yeah, but I didn't start giving it all the big one about how I didn't know.
I mean, that's classic sort of stuff when you've just fucked up online in front of everyone, and I'm like, oh yes, that's not that great. And you're like, well, you try and get a better score then.
No, because when you were saying, he fucked it, I was totally fine with that. But then he started going, he doesn't know how to play, he's shit at Freeze. I thought,
you definitely,
let's get a bit of reality in
about
this.
the controls.
I know you saw
the.
I know you saw. You don't decide when we move on.
Yes, we do. Move on.
No,
okay,
you don't. No, you
Derek.
don't. You started putting out about how I didn't know how to play, and that's when you crossed the line. That's when it was like, listen, Matt, you need to get yourself in check a little bit. I know you see content and go, oh, fucking content, we can make something out of this. Yeah, but let's try and make it realistic. And just at least try and, play along the laws of realism.
The laws of what?
Of realism, and then we'll go from there. Let's just take it one step at a time, Matt. Eh? Anyway, how are you finding the game?
I don't know what that means. Well, before we got that, we had some feedback. Chris Band CS87, at least he didn't shit himself this time, which was always a good thing. Gary Dutton, highlight was when Dave briefly got cramp.
God, yeah, that was later, because I furiously carried on playing despite saying that my 10,000th would probably be my last, and so I carried on playing to prove myself that I could get 20,000 over 20,000 on stream, not realising that I had my legs crossed, and for a 32-year-old man that's not an easy thing to do for any length of time.
The hilarious thing was you started a stream, you're like, hey, I'm going to do my 10,000th game. You had already been playing a few games there, and then you only checked and suddenly, oh fuck, I've only got one left to go. Like you just played 2 or 3 games just
totally subconsciously.
You were about to go past your 10,000th game, not even realising.
Yeah, that whole thing could have gone worse, because I noticed that it was 9,997 games that I'd played, but I thought I had about 100 left to go before I hit the 10,000 mark. And then I put it down, I picked it up again, went to start the stream to show that I had 3 games left, so I'd do a couple of test games or whatever, and it said 9,999, and I went, what? When? And I must have literally just picked up the phone and just played Freeze another couple of, and that could have easily been more than 2 games. I'm not even joking. That could have easily have taken me over the 10,000 mark without me even thinking about it. Yeah, that would have been bad.
SMW, Farley has killed one son, lost the other in his first 2 streams, and he's still fucked it less than Dave did tonight.
True.
A few people actually weren't even sure what game you were playing, but I think a lot of people were quite big fans. Also, Indy said, I haven't seen a choke like that since Dave Perry's Games Master incident.
That's also true.
Classic.
Big show, Bennett. But regardless of all that, hilarious video again, it's on our YouTube channel. The game is actually really, really good fun. Just away from the game, I mean, I love the design. I think it just looks fantastic. I love all the little sounds as well, the random little sounds you get when you play the game.
Yeah, the little characters talking out. I must admit, I probably left the music on for the first 100 or so games, and then it had to go off. But it's still pretty cool when you first start playing. I have already
turned the music off. I've got sound effects, but the music went off because
you don't play any games with music, do you, Matt? Even Phoenix Wright, fucking hell.
That's an easy one to play without sound, but the game's really good. I've already rang you over a couple of times, Dave, about how you play this game and what the actual aim of the game was, but and I'm still trying to get my head around it. But it looks gorgeous. It's super fun to play, and also it's really, really fast to play. You can easily get a few games out on a train or whatever. In fact, I had my Switch in my bag and I was going to play Zelda, and I thought, I'll just play this. And so I also almost walked into a lamppost playing this in that classic fashion, because I was like, I'm going to fucking move that 1 to 2 to 4. Anyway, good game.
It gets a lot of over shoulder watching as well, because I think because like when I'm on a train playing it and stuff, there's always someone peering over my shoulder to watch what I'm doing, and I
know why that is.
Right, okay, let me tell you why I think that is because just to look at, you look like a genius playing it, because it's just numbers everywhere.
Yeah,
people
this is because the reason I didn't play it.
Train players, and I'm like, what are you even doing? Like, how does that even go there?
Like, do you think they look at you and they're like, "Wow, this is some kind of mathematical genius"?
I just want to go. You haven't got a clue. I'm a fucking idiot.
Well, that's the reason I didn't play this for ages, because I took a look at it and I was like, it's fucking number puzzles. I'm shit at them. Yeah. It's not really, is it?
No, it's really simple mechanics, but lots to get your head around.
I only found out about this game because a Queens of the Stone Age fan made a copy of the game but just using their album covers. So you're just like combining their album covers. So that shows how much mathematics is actually involved in this game. It doesn't even need numbers.
What I love about it, maths isn't one of my strong suits, but it's basic enough for even an idiot like me to understand. But it reminds me of loads of those, those little plastic puzzles you used to get where one of the squares was missing and you used to like move them around to complete the picture. You used to move up, down, left, right, and like move this little like this little like plastic grid of which is originally a picture, but it's split up and you have to like mix it up and make the picture back again. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it basically reminds me of one of them as well, because you do have to like, it's all about the placement of the numbers and how they interact with other numbers larger than or half the size of those numbers. So I think it's really, really good. I don't know how much longer I'll keep playing it. I probably won't play 10,000 games, but it's really fun for what it is. I'm glad I finally played it and not just assume it's something for maths geniuses on the train.
What's your top score at the moment?
It's like 2,500.
You can do better.
I haven't played it for a few days, admittedly, but
you can do better
tomorrow.
No, you'll find that you progress really quickly. Like once you start working out combinations in your head and how best to deal with them, you'll suddenly shoot up to 10,000 and 20,000, and so cool. It's never consistent because the random element of the game does throw up like the odd shit one, but you'll improve.
Yeah. I've also been playing Destiny 2 beta tonight, but we'll talk about that when it's everyone else's turn. Yeah. The final game I'm playing is SUPERHOT VR for PSVR. This game is fun as fuck. It's so good. I haven't played the non-VR version, so I can only really talk about the VR version. SUPERHOT is a game, I think it originally came out of from a game jam years ago, but it's
it was a browser game, wasn't it?
It was initially, yeah.
I was like, wow, okay, amazing. So it's a game whereby it's a first-person shooter, I guess you can call it, but in SUPERHOT, time only moves when you move. So that could be, certainly in the VR version, that can be you moving your head to look around the level. It could be obviously when you're moving your body, when you're shooting, etc. So if you stand still, no enemies or anyone will move. As soon as you move, they will move, and that obviously affects bullets that they fire, weapons that they throw. So they could shoot a bullet from their gun, and it'll go towards you. If you stop, then that bullet will just stop in midair, and it's that gives you an opportunity then to see where bullets are going, so you can duck and dive away from the bullets. It gives you a chance to place your shots, and it's just so immensely fun. It basically feels like the Matrix of the game. So you spend a lot of your time obviously in this. It's all slow mo, I guess, in just various states of slow mo, but it's basically it's just bullet time. It's super satisfying to fire around and then wait for other sort of bullets to go around you, or to duck and dive around those bullets. As a VR game, it's definitely a game where I've got the most sweaty. After like 10-15 minutes, I'm ducking and diving. I'm doing all sorts of stuff, and obviously it's summer right now, so it's hot anyway. But yeah, just 20 minutes this, and you'll be dripping with sweat. In fact, I did a bit of a stream yesterday, and you can hear me out of breath after about 5-10 minutes. So it wasn't a good look.
Well, I'll be honest, because you stream this and put it on YouTube, and the what I liked was that because you were out of breath and clearly like it was affecting you physically, when you watch like an action flick and it goes into that sort of slow motion mode and you hear the heavy breathing of the character and stuff, it properly felt like that at times. And I was like, holy shit, this is like watching like a proper action film. Albeit a weird one with Matt talking and the text-to-speech stuff. Which is great. That text-to-speech... Can we just talk about streaming on PS4 just very briefly?
We can.
The text-to-speech stuff, is that available on all games or just PSVR games?
I'm not sure, because I've only seen it thanks to other sort of PSVR YouTubers that I follow, and I've seen them use it. But I don't know if you can use that in non-VR games. But it's so good, because obviously when you're playing PSVR, you see... Everything you see in the headset is just a game. You wouldn't see the overlay of the chat on the right hand side. You don't see how many people are even watching you. So to get around that, there is an option in settings to have text to speech. So I was receiving those comments and messages in the chat, but I could hear them, which was really good, and they come through pretty quick. I just, issue, I guess, is that I couldn't see who was saying the comments, and I couldn't see how many people were watching me stream. But it's really, really good. And
yeah,
it means
I don't know how much of a problem that is, rather than fixing an issue. Like, I don't know if that's a good thing to be able to hear the usernames as well. I suppose it would be, but at the same time, you won't want to constantly hear.
It's quite nice in a way, because I'm not like, I'm literally just answering the question.
Yeah.
Although someone did say, "Oh, this is literally David Turner's," saying some other stuff. I don't think it was you.
It wasn't.
But back to the game. Yeah, this is. I mean, I've played tons of VR games, and this, in terms of just pure gameplay, this is definitely up there with the best I've played in VR. It's so immensely fun. It's just firing a gun and it basically enemies that you shoot or throw weapons or throw items from the map. It could be like a glass bottle, it could be an ashtray, that they all die basically in one shot. So that could be one bullet to anywhere in the body, but it could also be an ashtray to the foot. It doesn't matter. When they're holding a weapon, if you kill them, then they will just throw their weapon, I guess, towards you basically. And I felt a feeling in VR quite like shooting an enemy. They drop their gun towards you. You in slow-mo grab that gun, use it to fire and shoot a person to your left. They might drop a shotgun. You grab that in midair with the other hand. You fire that to your right. It feels so fucking cool. And yeah, I don't think I've played a game like it. The major difference between the VR version and the standard version, and I haven't played that one yet, is that the standard one, I believe you can walk through the levels you would do a regular FPS. In this, it's essentially it's collections of it's collections of scenarios, and in each scenario you'll basically stand in one spot, you'll kill all the people you can see on screen, and then you'll grab this 3D triangle in front of you and you'll go to another area within that same scenario. I think there's like 4 potentially in each one, 4 different areas. If you die at any point, you'll go back to the first area in that same scenario. And I generally found it fine to get through. It was really fun, and I can get through it pretty quickly. But there were a couple of levels where I kept fucking up on the final one, so I kept having to do the first 3 or 4 over and over and over again. In terms of the length of this game, I finished it in about 3.5 hours.
Oh,
which
James.
Some of you might be saying it's way too short. Some of you like James Farley, but it was an immensely fucking fun 4 hours, and I've already started replaying it again. There's also an endless mode where you can just go through all the levels really quickly. There's a speedrun mode where it's like time trial on certain maps, and those are really, really cool because okay, I've got to get headshot here. You grab that weapon, you shoot this. You can't miss. Basically, you haven't got you're unable to miss a round or miss a headshot because you would have fucked your time up. Yeah, I think it's absolutely brilliant, and I think this is an essential game if you've got PSVR. I think it's absolutely fucking brilliant. I'm not sure how much it is. I know on PSN you can get this VR version, you can get the standard version, and you can also get a bundle with both of them in.
All right.
I can maybe talk about the VR version, but yeah, it's so fun. It's so good. It feels amazing. You get super hot and sweaty, but it's just there's very few things like it. Just firing in midair and watching bullets whiz past you, and yeah, I had to watch The Matrix immediately after this, and I thought the Matrix films were fine. I mean, the first one is iconic, but yeah, I can't describe how cool this game makes you feel, and I recommend anyone to play it.
Film criticism like that smoothly. That's pretty impressive. Just a couple of quick questions for you. The first being, does it still do that thing? Because on the main game, if you want to call it that, it does that thing where it plays everything out in real time after you've completed a level. Does it do that?
It doesn't do that, no.
That's a
it's
shame.
a shame.
That was never
option.
as cool as you would think, though.
No?
I found it you sort of, the idea of it, you're like, of course that would be amazing because it's just everything playing out at full speed and it's just you being a fucking ninja. But in actual fact, like in the main game, there'd be loads of situations where like some guys would be coming at you, but you'd need them to be closer. So you just kind of go like left, right, like just sort of like just doing little movements just to try and make time move forward. So there'd just be loads of bits like that would just kind of make it look a bit shit. So, I wouldn't miss that, I don't think.
Sorry, go on, Matt.
No, you go.
Also, what's the main complaint that I've heard for the PSVR version is the tracking. Is that an issue, or are people over?
So tracking for me has been super solid, and this is totally different to say things like Arizona Sunshine and many other games where you hold the gun or whatever you're holding in front of you and they'll be shaking around. I've had it. It's been super, super solid, and obviously you need it for a game like this where you have split seconds to fire. You know, you've got to line up the shot to make sure it hits your opponent and whatnot. The only issue in inverted commas I have had is where it sees you in the game space. So there's lots like diving not diving, but stretching to the left, to the right, behind you, and all sorts. But you also need to pick up weapons from the floor, and you can also be diving to grab a weapon that's been chucked out in midair. And on the odd occasion, I couldn't. I had issues grabbing the gun which was on the floor. So what I've done is I have basically moved my camera a bit lower, or aimed it a bit lower than I would normally have it for a PSVR game. I absolutely definitely recommend you having your camera at eye level. John Denton has been done a video on this today, and he's had issues because he basically is unable to put his camera on top of the TV. He has to have it below. I've got a little stand for my camera, which means I can just have it on anything. Even though my TV is really thin, I can still stand it on top, and I think you need it on top. It needs to be on eye level, but you can also aim it towards a little bit lower than you would normally. Apart from that, it's fine. I mean, I imagine on Vive and Oculus, tracking is a lot more solid, and obviously you have a much wider game space, but it's fine. I mean, yeah, like I said, tracking, just holding your weapon out in front of you, it doesn't shake. At least it didn't for me, and it's been rock solid. If you have a PSVR, definitely get this game. You will not regret it. It's fucking brilliant. Okay, cool. And that's your lot, is it? Yeah, I'll play Destiny 2 beta, but I'll wait for someone else to talk about that before jumping in. Sean, you go.
I've been playing Splatoon 2 because I was a lucky boy and I got a review copy.
Well, I've played it briefly because there was the free demo last week.
That's true. There was Splatfest, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, let's talk about Splatfest first. For starters, who did you join, Sean?
Cake, mate. Obviously.
And not obviously. And Matt.
Well, ice cream, obviously.
James.
Okay, I joined Cake, but I didn't actually do it. It was Rachel. She chose.
Oh, classic. That's a classic caker.
Would you have joined Cake?
Probably not. I probably would have gone for ice cream, to be honest, because
fuck's sake,
I kind of prefer it. But,
Sean, can I explain why I went?
Did you go for, Dave?
Ice cream? I went ice cream. Sorry. Can I explain why I went ice cream? Because I don't, it's probably, I'm not going to turn this into some sort of console wars and Cake shit. It's not shit. Cake's lovely.
Well, that's been half the fun. Like, even in the WhatsApp groups I've been involved in, it's like, oh, well, no, Cake is definitely better. No, ice cream. I got quite involved.
Here was my thought process, because I thought about this a lot. Right. Okay. Bear with me, Sean. So I like Cake. I like ice cream. Yeah. I had to choose.
Yeah. Case closed.
So I'm thinking, what's the ultimate out of those two? What would I enjoy? Like, you look at the best of the best. And for me, that is the cupcake. Cupcake is unbelievable. And I'm not going to sit...
The cupcake is your ultimate cake?
Cupcakes are
for me.
That is a bit pathetic, though.
The ultimate cake is the smallest cake.
Without a doubt, for me, the cupcake. And I'll tell you why. Because
it's just a muffin with cream on.
No, it's not. Not if it's done right.
Cupcake.
I love that. The frosting and everything. I count that as part of the cake. I'm not going to do, not have that. I also really like ice cream, but I would rather have a proper cupcake than an ice cream, right? Bear with me. I'm also thinking about the worst case scenario with these things. Viennetta and cake.
Fuck off, Dave.
That used to be good
forever.
It used to be good, but then it was
still rubbish. They're only like I've had the same argument with Chris Mann in the WhatsApp group this week. Or last week. Yeah, I mean, they're a quid on special offer, $1.50. You can eat a whole thing on your own in like 20 minutes. Viennettas are brilliant.
Nah.
20 minutes? How slow are you eating, Matt? Sorry.
James just shoves it in with a
fit kitchen and then pause.
It's just a puddle of shards of chocolate by that point. Right. So I'm thinking of like legitimately the worst ice cream I've ever had, where it's all icy, it's not very nice or whatever. Yeah. But compare that to the worst cake you've ever had. Yeah. Now, cake, when you think about bad cake, that is a lot worse than bad ice cream, right? Yeah. Even you can admit that, Sean.
See, that's the
I
thing
know what
is,
you mean.
like-
Like, you can,
When it's all dry and it just tastes like you're
because
eating
the thing
a
with
sponge.
cake is that a lot of people have a go at doing themselves, whereas ice cream, by and large, is pretty much always going to have been done by a professional. So yeah, I see where you're coming from. Like, it's bad ice cream doesn't really exist, generally speaking.
Yeah, I mean, it does, but it's still better than bad.
Yeah, like
bad
you can
cake.
really fuck up making a cake. Like,
And not only that, but I'm a big fan, and I'm sure there's ice cream snobs out there going to shout at me, but I'm a big fan of the Ben and Jerry's. I just think life without that would not be, like, it's literally a yearly treat for me at this point. I don't buy it often.
Really?
Literally, Matt, I will buy a tub of Ben and Jerry's ice cream probably once a year now.
Hang on, so you love ice cream, but you buy Ben & Jerry's once a year. You love cake, but your favourite's a cupcake.
Matt, did you see the size of me at the start of last year? There are reasons.
You can have
as
2
James
a year
puts
now.
it.
You look great.
Thanks, mate. But no, I don't want to go back to those dark days. And by dark days, I mean the amount of shadow I was casting on the earth.
We haven't done the clips for ages, actually.
So it was quite a conundrum with me, but I weighed up the pros and cons, and I had to go ice cream there. So, and let's face it, we won. Sean, you lost. You have to now accept the fact that ice cream is better than cake, mate.
yeah, I know.
Just before we get off this subject, how often are these? How often is test? What's this thing called Splatfest? How often do they occur in?
Do you know? I'm
Splatoon?
having a look at how many there were in the previous one. I think it's like once a month.
Yeah, I'm sure it was once a month they were doing
Okay.
them.
So
And
every
what's
month I'm gonna have to
the
fight for a
criteria for
side.
winning, Sean?
It's, to be honest, I don't quite know how they calculate it. So it seems to
Because
go.
it just went ice cream 1, 2, 1. What?
It
2,
was
1,
okay.
what?
So it was. So first, I think basically there are 3 contests, right? So it's basically one, which is who got the most votes, and then it's like who. Right, I didn't really understand this. I think they've changed it for this one. So it's like how many battles like a certain team won on like a individual player basis, and then how many they won as a team or something. I don't know. So basically, so ice cream got way more votes, and it won in terms of like individual players. If that makes sense.
But lost in terms of team.
Yeah,
battle.
I don't
get that.
know. But I mean, it don't
there's
fucking matter.
also-
This sounds like the American election. Like, it's,
Yes, it does. Yeah. It also. I mean, I probably played about 10 rounds of Splatoon during the Splatfest. Every round was Team Ice Cream versus Team Ice Cream, and it was kind of like a bit confusing. At least tell me their cake, motivate me a little bit. You know what I mean?
So I'm having a look at the Splatoon wiki. So yeah, they have changed how it calculates it. For Splatoon 1, there's like a whole fucking formula. Whereas yeah, for Splatoon 2, it just says the final score is now a straight tally of how many categories each team has a majority percentage in. There are 3 categories: popularity, so votes, and then it says solo wins and team wins. Fucking,
that
who
makes
knows what that means?
absolute zero sense.
Yeah.
How can you solo win?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I'm
not team
with you on
win.
that. Okay, fine.
Whatever.
So you've been playing the full game.
Yeah.
I'll do my impressions of the demo after, because I think it's more important that people hear about the full game before just the short amount of time that I've played it.
Yeah.
Go.
So it's fucking great, but it is very similar to the last one. And like, obviously, you know, you want to be like, yeah, but it's on the Switch, I can play it on the fucking toilet and that. So yeah, but you can't, like, at this point, you can't give a game a pass for that. You know, like, that's not automatically, a plus point that you can just chuck in, because then you just, you know, every Switch game would get that, and that's just meaningless. So in terms of what they've added, right, obviously this was an opportunity for them to like sort out the online infrastructure stuff, which they've sort of done, which I'll get onto that in a minute. So like, you know, when the first Splatoon came out, you literally couldn't even team up with your mates and play with them. It was fucking stupid. And they did eventually add that, but it was far too late by that point. That's in now, obviously. It's like, it's a lot easier to play with your friends. The only thing is, obviously, the dreaded app hasn't launched yet. So, you know, reviews are out there and everyone loves it, but no one actually knows how well that works yet. The main thing that they've added is this new Salmon Run mode, which is this new, like, co-op, sort of horde-based, horde wave-based mode. It's fucking excellent. Really good. You basically team up with like 3 other people, and then there's these like frying pan wielding salmon coming at you, and you have to blast them, and then occasionally like a boss will appear, and it feels a bit Left 4 Dead, or occasionally, so you got your normal zombies, and then occasionally like a special one would show up, and like in this they call them bosses, and like they're not like, like, oh fuck it, it's the end of a level, here is the boss, but they're just a bit tougher, and they all have like a quirk. That means you do have to work together a bit to take them out, and and it eases you in. Like first there'll just be one, but then they might start throwing like 2 or 3 at you at a time, and you really got to like be communicating and figuring out how to take them down, and that's fucking great. Just sort of constant. Like when you defeat a boss, they drop these golden eggs, and you've got to like grab them and take them back to this like storage container thing. So you sort of, it might be that like, if one player's busy somewhere else, or 2 players are busy somewhere else, it'll drop 3 eggs. So one player will like guard them while someone else is like doing the runs back and 2, because you can only hold one at a time. And stuff like that. It's just properly exciting. It's like, right, you do the run, I'll stay and hold it, because otherwise the enemies start grabbing the eggs and taking them away. And yeah, it's just constant, like, always communicating, always thinking about where you're going, what you're doing. Really frantic, but just loads of fun.
Is there a lot of sort of diversity in sort of level design in that for that? Like, is it?
They've only had it up, they only had it up for like 1 day during the sort of review period. And basically what it seems is, because, again, controversially, this mode isn't available all the time. It's like an occasional event. Yeah. If you're playing locally, you can play it whenever you want. But yeah, online, it's not always open.
This sounds like the mode that I'd really want to play, like, way more than like competitive or anything like that, yeah.
Again, this is one of the things where it's like, why did you just... Like, all the things that are wrong with it are just bad decisions. That's what annoys me, is they're not things that would be difficult to remedy. They just, I don't know. They've just got...
Have they still got that thing where... Because I think in the demo it was like this, like, you can't change weapons without quitting out, because that's insane.
Yeah, that's insane. Absolutely fucking insane.
It is ridiculous, like, because especially, they've designed a game that is good enough and clever enough that, like, it really matters what loadout you have across your team. Like, you only really want 1 roller, maybe 1 sniper, 2 guys with guns, generally speaking. Depends on the level. Again, depends on the level. So once you go into matchmaking, you can't change your gear. So if you're playing with your mates, not a problem, because you can just have the conversation beforehand and swap your gear around, and then that's you set. But if you just want to jump into a game with randoms, which for the most part, like, the game's really good for that, because the matches are short, and, if your mates aren't on, it doesn't feel like the end of the world. It's really easy just getting a game. You might find like, oh, well, I'll be a roller, and then you might end up on a team with 3 other rollers or 3 snipers, and there's just nothing you can do about it. You can't even, once you've started matchmaking, you can't even back out. And I don't know why. And it's like, okay,
they punish you if you do things like that. And threaten to block you.
Yeah. So, and obviously 2 years ago when the first one came out, there was an element of like, well, it's Nintendo, they've not really done this before, they're finding their feet. But like, not only is this the second one, but Overwatch has been out since. And do you know what Overwatch does? Just gives you like 20 seconds before the match starts where you can just see what everyone's picking. And you can just go, oh, right, okay, well, this is the team layout, so I'd probably best go for this or whatever. And you just choose accordingly.
Is there a chance they will change this or patch this, or do you reckon they're so stubborn?
You would think so. Talking to Andy Hamilton about ARMS and how that, like, the competitive mode and that has seen a lot of changes. Which, so that sounds positive. But then talking to Joe Scrabbles about an interview he did with Splatoon developers, they're just like, no, this is just how they think it should be. Like, they don't seem to recognise it as a problem. It's weird.
But do they want to push this as an esport? Obviously,
yeah,
that
totally.
Was in
and like, the
trailers.
first one did do okay as an esport. And again, as I say, if you're playing, like, if you're playing competitive mode with your mates, you're playing ranked mode rather, again, you'll have those conversations. You're like, right, who's picking what? Who should we have? Like, what sort of team loadout do we want? So that's fine. It's just playing casually, which otherwise the game is very good at. It just sort of hobbles you needlessly. I mean, and the only answer is to just be like, well, just treat it as a bit of fun and just don't really worry about winning too much. But it's a good game. It's enjoyable to take it seriously and think about, what your loadout is and stuff. So, yeah, it just feels like a bit of a missed opportunity there. But again, playing the actual game, it's still fucking amazing and still feels like really interesting and fresh. Like the whole movement system, inking your own territory and then using that to swim around quickly. Like finding little shortcuts, like little bits of wall you can ink and then swim up and then get into enemy territory and stuff. Like that's still so fucking good. Like I absolutely love it. The single player stuff, great. That's just basically more of the same, but there was nothing wrong with the single player stuff in the last game. Some really interesting and weird bosses, sort of weird, lots of different enemy types that sort of force you to use different tactics and stuff. And the only thing is, like, the levels are a bit indistinct because they're all basically just like floating blocks in like a empty space. It's a bit weird. Like, there's no like memorable environments in it or anything. You're just sort of moving from puzzle to puzzle, shooting enemies and stuff. But it's really good and really inventive. The bosses are really smart as well. And
you play motion controls, I presume?
I do play with motion controls, which I didn't with the last one. I hated them last time. But this time, I don't know if it's because I've played a lot of Breath of the Wild, where, it's like, basically motion controls are only there when you're actually aiming at things. And you get used to that, like...
Yeah, I turned mine off, actually.
Oh, did you? Okay. Because I used it quite a lot in Breath of the Wild, where I basically wasn't using them, except occasionally where I just had to tweak my aim a little bit. And that's how pretty much how I'm using it here, and I actually find it works really well. In fact, playing the Destiny 2 beta, which we'll get onto in a bit, I've found myself like tilting the controller around and being annoyed that it wasn't adjusting my aim a bit. So yeah, really liking that. I'm mostly playing with the Joy-Con in the grip, and I'm alright with it. I know a lot of people are getting the Pro controller for this, which probably is better. But if you're thinking of getting the game but you don't want to pay up for the Pro controller, you'd probably be alright.
And what's it like in handheld versus on screen? Is it the same?
It's the same
frame rate? Okay.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. Frame rate's consistent throughout. I'm pretty sure it's a solid 60. Although not when you're in the hub area. For some reason, the frame rate's much lower. I just don't really know why, but
Weird.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, so I mean, when I loaded up the demo, I played a few games and I had a pre-order, ready for delivery this week. Before I started the demo, I tried the demo and I was just thinking, I am not getting into this. I'm really trying, but I wasn't getting into it. And then just as because I had to go out, we had to go out and, I knew that I had to get all the time that I was playing that game into this short period of time. Just as I was getting to the end of it, I was starting to see potential. Like, I was starting to understand that moving around is quite important, and moving as a squid can be used to hide from people and sort of surprise them, jump out and kill them and stuff like that. I switched to roller, and I seemed to have a lot more success in doing what I wanted to do. Obviously I was getting shot all over the place, but, sneakily hiding in the ink and then jumping out and splatting people and repainting over them was all good. I mean, the ultimate feeling I got away from it, from what I was playing, was, God damn, this really does need team play. Yeah. And to hear that, especially with the switching the weapons beforehand, is so disheartening. Yeah. You're just kind of like, come on, Nintendo, it needs to, there's something here. One thing that I did think, though, and I wonder, as someone who's played this a hell of a lot more than I have, I know you've commented on it already, but the short rounds, I kind of feel they should be a little bit longer, because there's times where I'm thinking, go on.
Go on.
It's not the same thing, James.
No, it's not at all. No.
One's a campaign, the other one's limiting how the rounds end up. It's not the same thing. And just as I feel that there's some sort of back and forth happening, like you're starting to, because the initial 30 seconds to a minute is kind of right quick, paint your area to make sure that your percentage is up to a decent level, and then battle for territory in the middle, right? It kind of feels like when you get to that whole back and forth and holding your area, just as that's starting to happening, the round ends, and I kind of feel...
So it's like you're saying, just as things start to kick in, it starts to get really cool, it finishes. And then you're just thinking, I wish this lasted a bit longer.
I don't know how you can even draw similarities to that, James. I mean, you're struggling now, aren't you? No, so it's probably best to leave that little thing. One's a multiplayer game that you keep jumping into. The other one's a campaign that's full of innovative ideas.
Yeah, go on.
So yeah, I just kind of feel the round should be a little bit longer to let the sort of not the drama, but like let the back and forth with the other team sort of develop. But what do you feel? I mean, you've put a hell of a lot more time into that. Might not be. I
don't know. I feel it's about right, if only because when you are on the back foot, like, and there's basically, and there's no way of pulling it back. It's like you don't want to drag it out, It's
yeah, I suppose you're right. Yeah,
or maybe perhaps...
So what I've done there, James, is I've listened to Sean's excellent point and agreed with it. You might learn something. Listen,
I mean, what I suppose they could do is if, like, perhaps there were longer rounds, but like if you reach like a certain percentage, then it just ends early. Do you know what I mean? Like if you
Destiny
dominate,
style.
I've seen enough. I'm calling this one.
You're fucking shit. Stop playing now.
So yeah, perhaps that could work. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think it's more justifiable now that it's on the Switch as well, because it means you can get a game in while you're on the loo, and it's not like we've talked about like, oh, imagine if they put Overwatch on the Switch. So, yeah, but you wouldn't play it on the toilet, would you? Because it lasts far too long. I mean, not for me. I spend about fucking half an hour on there, but that's me. I do really like it. It is just a shame that there are a couple of weird little hang-ups, that again, which, like I say, I don't think they're difficult to fix. Like, I can understand, like, not being able to switch mid-match, right? Because that becomes, like, a whole balance issue, and you just get people, like, counter-picking or whatever. But, come on, just let us... Like, it doesn't even have to be once the level is loaded. It's like, just be in the lobby and just give me 10 seconds. Like, if I can just have, like, a few different, like, preset loadouts of mine, and then I can see what other people are picking. Right, we've already got roll, don't need to be a roller. Already got a sniper, don't need to be a sniper. I'll just be a regular gun guy, whatever. Fine, that's all it needs. And I don't feel like that would be impossible.
No, it wouldn't be. Yeah. And, I mean, as I say, like, when games like this solely depend on what class you are, and and you adapt your tactics to match, it needs that shit. I mean, like Rainbow Six, everything comes back to Rainbow Six Siege. That's exactly how it is. You go into sort of a screen where it shows you who everyone else is picking, and you can even back out and change before the round starts. And the fact that you can't do that with this, how many game modes are there? Like, in terms of PvP, is there like different types, or is it literally just a game mode where whoever's painted the most wins?
So that's Turf War, and then there is, I can't remember the fucking names of half of them. There's one called Rainmaker, which is like, there's this fish that you have to, like, basically, it's got like a shield on it, so you have to shoot it a lot, break the shield, and then you can grab it, and then you've got to, like, basically take it back to it's basically like capture the flag. There's one called, I can't remember the fucking name, but basically every like 20 seconds there'll be like a different zone on the map that'll just highlight, and like that's what you've got to fight over. And then like whoever controls it when the 20 seconds runs out gets a point or whatever, and it just keeps moving around. That's really good fun. There is, what else is there? There's one, I can't remember the fucking name again, but there's like, like the payload in Overwatch. Where it's like one team sort of has to, occupy the area around it, and then it starts moving. They've got to get it to the end of the area. Basically that, but it's the points, like the payload starts in the middle, and whoever controls it, like, it moves towards the enemy's base, and you've got to push it all the way into the enemy's territory, and it keeps going back and forth. That is so good. It's so much fun. But that generally only shows up in your, like, ranked modes rather than, like, your casual play is always just normal Turf War, I think. And I think there's...
I'm fine with that.
I think there's one more I've forgotten about. But yeah. They seem to...
I really hope there's more events that are not just Splatfest. Splatfest is such a great idea. And it's so much fun. If they get the players involved with that, then, if they get, like, the populated, lots of people playing that thing, that's going to be a hell of a lot of fun and something to keep me interested.
It was,
but I do hope that they keep bringing out like the way Tights does, where it just goes, here's a new game mode every now and then.
I mean, they did it with fresh. The first one. I just hope with this one they don't just go, well, it's got everything that was in the first one, so you don't need anything else. I mean,
there's always that chance.
Yeah, I mean, they've said they're doing like 2 years worth of Splatfests for free. And there's going to be new weapons and stuff just getting chucked in as and when. Again, with the first game, they were chucking in like new maps every couple of months. Maybe that'll happen. I don't think they've really said. But no, like, yeah, sort of specifically with regards to Splatfest, it was really cool seeing a lot of people who never played the first game, like, getting far too into the argument over whether cake or ice cream is better. Because that's, like, that's Splatfest's whole thing, is that whenever they announce what it is, you're just like, well, that's, like, bullshit. I don't really care either way. And then, like, a couple of days later, you're like, I can't fucking believe that some people prefer sleeping to eating. You fucking idiots.
I love that people should come up with like justified arguments. Like, well, there's science behind it. This is why ice cream is better. I love that.
Yeah.
Did they do black and gold versus? Was it black and blue versus gold
Sadly,
and white?
no.
Oh,
but they always manage to pick things that, like, they all, again, at first glance, it's like, well, who cares? And then you find yourself like arguing with your best mates. So, for example, with Splatoon 1, we had cats versus dogs, classic.
Yep.
And then there was North Pole versus South Pole.
Oh, God.
Eating versus sleeping, that was a good one. Zombies versus ghosts. And it's all just...
Who picks ghosts?
Well, exactly. It's all just stupid shit. But again, you think, oh, well, yeah, I mean, I guess I think, this one. And then you find out a mate picked the other one. And it's like, are you fucking stupid? Like, what's wrong with you?
It's like, like, I thought I knew you.
Yeah.
And then it's like...
And then you went Team Cake.
Yeah, exactly.
That
it's
happened
just,
in...
it's fun.
Yeah, that happened in pretty much every WhatsApp group that I was in. An argument broke out.
Yeah.
And I love that shit. And we said at the time, when Splatoon 1 was out, that it's the natural progression from those vote things that they had on the Wii channel.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, I really like it, but
Splatoon 2.
it is £50. But
we're all getting it though.
Yep.
Because Nintendo hate us now.
It's cheaper from Shop 2. It's,
is it? How much?
It was, I think it's 48 or something like that. It's
wow.
Ooh,
a little bit less.
Bargain.
See, we shouldn't cover this game and
that's true.
and teach Nintendo a lesson.
Yeah. Them sales are missing out.
But there you go. Right, okay, anything else?
No, that's me.
Well, Destiny 2.
Oh, well, yeah, but are we waiting until James
let's
has done
do the
his?
Destiny 2 chat, because, let's do that.
I mean, so I think we've most of us have only played, like, the initial story mission that it just throws you into. Is that right?
Yeah, I've not done anything.
I didn't even finish that because it didn't do what I thought it was going to do. It didn't save anything, does it? No, that's annoying.
No, of course it doesn't. So I really enjoyed it. I need to get my head around, like, obviously they've changed the way the classes work and stuff. It's worth pointing out right off the bat, you don't get to, like, make your own character in this one. You just pick one of the 3 main classes. And they'll each have 2 subclasses which are just fully leveled up, and you just have a load of nice gear.
Can I ask a question about this?
Yes.
As the person who's played the least amount of Destiny out of all of us.
Yeah.
I played a bit of it, and when I started this up, I really felt like I was still just playing the original Destiny. Is that just because I'm not seeing anything because I've not played it enough?
Maybe. In terms of the way it feels, it's pretty much identical. But then that was, like, my favourite thing about the first one. So I think I'd be upset if they changed too much on that front anyway.
It still feels great. And I haven't played Destiny for many, many months. I mean, Taken King I did for about a month or so, and after I stopped. So, many, many, many months, but it was great. It felt like the old Destiny. I don't want that to change, as Sean said. That, the in inverted commas gun feel still felt class. I still knew exactly where the crosshair was going, and it felt awesome to fire the guns, and they sound great and look great. So, I mean, I think there's probably lots of things little things that probably have changed that you wouldn't notice, and even things that I'm not even going to notice because it's been such a long time, but. I think in terms of feel, it will feel the same.
Yeah, I mean,
which is good.
What I meant is it's more kind of like it feels like this is the same as like Splatoon 2 is to Splatoon. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Like, could this have been DLC sort of?
Yeah. That's what I meant from looking at it. But then again, I haven't played enough Destiny, so I couldn't say really.
It does look quite a bit nicer, I thought.
Oh god, I think it looks absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the big things is that now they don't have to support previous gen consoles, and I think that shows. I mean, the new engine is fantastic. I mean, like 4K. I don't know if it does HDR or whatever, but it looks absolutely stunning on my TV. I mean, like Destiny 1, the original Destiny looked good, great at times, but this looks really, really excellent.
I haven't got my head around, like I say, so they've tweaked the subclasses a bit, and they need to have a proper look at how the abilities work, and like the recharges on the ability, like the grenades and the melee seemed really slow, but then I think there's like each class has like a new ability that gives you, like if used in a certain way, gives you like an instant recharge on your abilities, doesn't it, or something? So that's
it felt like the grenades took ages to load up.
Yeah,
it also felt like the getting your super felt like that took ages as well.
But yeah, so I think it's all about using that new ability in clever ways. So that could be really cool, but again, I need time to get my head around it. Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, but so in the beta, so there's the first mission from the story, which I finished and you finished, Sean, and there's also one strike and then some multiplayer modes. Is that what's in it?
From what I've heard, the strike is good fun.
Good.
People seem to be enjoying it.
Do we know if anything carries over from this to the main game?
Apparently not. No.
Yeah.
Just here's a question, right? So, have they announced whether you can switch class with your current character when you go into Destiny 2?
What, like your main class? I wouldn't have thought so.
What do you mean exactly?
Well, here's the example, right? So, I was a hunter in the first one. Were you also a hunter, Matt?
Well, I had all of them.
No, but what was your main character?
Well, I had all of them leveled up. So I started off on Hunter, then I went Warlock, but I did all of them.
Right, okay. Because we were talking about there's basically, when we play Destiny, it's most likely to be me, you and John, right? Sorry, James. We were saying, well, we should pick, should be one class of each one. And I think John wanted to go Hunter, you wanted to go something else.
I mean, I don't care because I will do all of them and upgrade all of them anyway, so it doesn't really bother me.
Right, maybe it's not a problem. But I was thinking that if you wanted to try a different class, but you wanted to keep your character, is that going to be an issue?
If you want to play proper Destiny, Dave, you just got to have all three classes.
Matt, if you
only did one, frankly.
In terms of
clearly haven't got the time you've got.
In terms of keeping your character, literally all you're transferring is a head texture, so...
it don't really matter.
I wouldn't worry. Yeah, probably just make a new guy.
Okay, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, that's fine. So it's like basically they've changed enough stuff that I'm a bit wrong-footed with it, but that's a good thing because I didn't want it to be completely the same. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having a go at the strike and getting my head around the changes properly.
Yeah, it's more Destiny, but I'm happy with that. Yeah, it looks great. It looks. That actually surprised me more than anything, which I don't know why, really, but it just looks so fucking good in this original mission.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to get loot and new weapons and see how they all work and see what the intricacies are and lots to delve into.
Like, obviously, this being the first mission, there's loads of cool scripted stuff going on, and I hope there's more of that because the Taken King threw a bit of that in, but still 80% of the missions had none of it, and it was just going room to room shooting guys. Which is fine, but it was really surprising after Destiny Year 1 where there was just none of that. It was just really dry. It added a lot in Taken King, just having funny, little sequences where stuff was going on.
Yeah.
It was surprising how much better that made it. So I'm hoping there's a lot more of that this time around, but we'll see.
Also, the new social space called The Farm, that actually opens up for an hour on Sunday night from 6 p.m.
Yeah. I don't know what.
So I'm interested to see what that's about.
Yeah, other than you can play football and it keeps score. Don't really know what else we'd do, to be honest.
Yeah, because I guess you can't see any. You can see the vendors, but you can't do anything.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised that nothing carries over. I mean, like an emblem or something to say you.
Yeah, I guess they might do something like that.
Yeah,
don't know. You can apparently when you do the strike, it will give you some gear which you can equip. But yeah, I don't think anything carries.
Cool. So are you definitely going to get this game, James?
Sorry, cut it out for a second. What did you say, Matt?
Are you definitely going to get this game?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I've got it on pre-order, but I'm not sure. Because
you
again,
might as well, man, because we're all going to be playing it.
Yeah, but who am I going to play with? Because it's as you've already said, you've already got teams and all that kind of thing.
No, you'll be surprised.
Yeah,
there's always one person that can't make it.
Yeah, sometimes Dave's internet doesn't work for 10 months. So there's always a space.
That doesn't happen.
I mean, broadly speaking, unless you're doing something super tough, if there's 4 of you, then you just split into 2 teams of 2 and then do whatever, or just do a bit of Crucible where it's 6v6.
Yeah, exactly.
And so many people are on I mean, if we're year one Destiny and I guess year two as well, but so many people are on and so many people are playing it. I mean, the amount of times that I was playing it at like 2 a.m. and I'll get a message from Sean saying, "Oh, could you pop in a strike and just help me out?" And or vice versa.
Yeah.
Like,
God,
why one are we both playing separately at 2 a.m? But like, I was just finishing a strike or doing this or getting materials, and then one of you'd say, "Oh, can you just pop in?" And this is a right bastard to kill. So yeah, and I mean, if I get into it as much as I did for Destiny 1, I'll be collecting materials at 3 a.m, James. So there will always be someone online. Don't worry about that.
It's true. Yeah. It's true. I would recommend getting it, James, because you'll want to be on that boat day one as well.
Time, Sean?
Oh, what? Sorry.
Are you going digital this time?
I have gone digital. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I will, because there's no way I'm changing discs.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sell this because it's Destiny.
Yeah, exactly.
So it makes sense.
Cool. All right then. Okay, so let me get mine out of the way because I've already spoken about both of them. I went back to Next Machina this week. So good. I mean, I said it all last time, but my word, is that game good. If you like twin stick shooters, you cannot go wrong with this. It's so fast paced, but it's full of secrets. I'm still finding secrets like within the first 3 screens. It's just, the conversation of it was really loud during launch, and then it went quiet again. But I went back to it and I had just as much fun as I did the first time I booted it up. That game is very, very good. I also have played Forza Horizon, the Hot Wheels DLC again. This time when Harry was in bed, and good God, that is a different experience. It's so much fun to just drive around doing what you want to do, and the races are fantastic. I kind of undersold it last week. I was aware of that. I started with some negative stuff that I wanted to get out of the way, and that kind of dragged out a little bit. It's brilliant. It's when I say, oh yeah, it's more Forza 3. That's a brilliant thing. And the fact that it just looks jaw-dropping, seeing this city with these Hot Wheel tracks like just curling around it is insane. If you enjoy racing games, then goddamn, Forza Horizon 3 plus that DLC should definitely be on your list. Sean, this is what because you tried to get it running on your PC. And
I did. I should clarify that was because I found out there's a demo. I was like, right, well, before buying it, maybe I should just try that.
Oh, right, fair enough.
Jesus Christ, it was a fucking slideshow. It was.
What? Why?
I don't know, man. I wouldn't mind if it was that slow, but like, oh my God, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Like, it just looked like obviously I had all the detail settings on low or whatever. Yeah, it's just that poorly optimized for PC, apparently. Like, Chris Band's PC is much better than mine, and even he had loads of trouble with it. It's just notorious for it, apparently. It's just a huge shame.
I still don't understand why you haven't got an Xbox, to be honest with you.
Because this is the only thing I want one for.
Dave?
Because your favourite thing to do is play computer games, and
but there's only one that I want to play on the Xbox One.
You don't want to play Cuphead. You've got no interest in Cuphead.
Isn't that coming out on PC as well?
Then, well, that's if it runs. Then you've got, things like Sunset Overdrive would have been way up your street.
I never fancied to look at that.
See, the thing is I can understand because there's not really much of a draw, is there?
No.
Like,
plus, you keep saying it's shit. So
but other than you being all about games, like they're your favourite thing, and the fact that they were selling them for £170 on Amazon last week.
There is that, yeah.
It's just kind of like, I'm not a massive fan of my Xbox, but I couldn't get rid of it because I love games. And if there's suddenly a game coming out for the Xbox that I want to play, I don't want to be on the other side of that.
Yeah.
I don't want that limitation of, it's bad enough when stuff's out for the PC and the PC only. And I just think, I wish I had like something to play this on.
Yeah.
But that, to be fair, that, rarely happens. I suppose you can say the same thing about the Xbox One, but there's still, I just kind of think, man, they really are on decent, they're selling them at a decent level now.
Yeah.
And just to get one under the TV, just in case.
If there was just one or two other games that I really wanted for it, that would be enough to push me over the edge. But when it's just one game,
when it's just one game and everything else is out on PC, then
yeah, exactly.
But isn't what about Sea of Thieves? Is that PC as well?
That's PC as well. I mean, see how that runs. If that's a shiter on PC, then maybe that'll be the one. We'll see.
I just think, man, what would be your price point to go, actually, fuck it, it's just worth having?
I don't know, man. It'd have to be under 150 at least. 150.
Okay, I don't know. I just, we're all madly into games, and to not have one just seems
it's certainly
I'm not
odd
recommending it for everyone.
It's certainly odd for me for us to be this far into the generation for me to not have all of them. But then maybe it's just part of getting old, isn't it? Maybe I don't need all of them.
I guess. Okay, cool. Right. So that was my list, really. Sean, James.
I've got two things. I mean, obviously, Heavy Rain, which
right. Okay. Let's talk about this first. Right. First of all, James has episode 3 and 4 now up on YouTube. Episode 3 is one of the funniest things. We were talking about episode 1 won't be beaten. It was by episode 2. Where does he go now? Episode 3 was better. It was just, it wasn't as consistently funny, but it had one moment on it, which is the funniest thing I've ever seen on a Let's Play thing. Episode 4, James was freaking out about because there was no standout moments, but it still has some incredible moments. My favourite being when Madison walks into the hotel reception and he's getting looked at by this weird guy with terribly, the animation to his mouth. It's his mouth.
Well, all of their mouths in that episode were messed up. That's particularly Scott Shelby, which is just really funny. He kept on just gaping at things, which was pretty funny. But go on.
But he turns around to Madison and goes, "Okay, your name is Madison Page. Your age is such and such. Single." And James is going, "Why would you have to put your marital status down in the book?" And then he ranted about it for about 10 minutes. And afterwards I said, "James, you do know that she'd just written that she wanted a single room, not that she was single." And he was like, "That makes more sense." Well, tell me what you were going to say about where you're at with Heavy Rain, because I do want to say something to you.
Well, the thing is, is that the third episode that you put up was my absolute favourite, because the whole of the content from that was just completely absurd and really funny. Particularly the dialogue. I mean, it's just Blake, man. Any time Blake is in that, it's amazing. Every time he's on there. And the bit that really set me off is his face expressions as well. It's not even just the voice acting. It's that bit when, who's the detective guy? I've forgotten his name already.
And Norman Jayden.
Yeah.
That's all James needs.
Oh, man,
James, Blake.
Yeah. It's just the name. The names are ridiculous as well. I mean, Ethan Mars. I mean, what is that? It's just terrible. But anyway, it's he was sort of going on about, how he'd done all this detective work and everything, and then how he'd created this zone. And then he just, Blake just leans back in his chair with this really ridiculous face expression, and he's just, ripping the piss out of him, and it's just very, very funny. I just couldn't stop laughing. But it's because it's the face expressions, but also the voice acting is generally bad, through most of it. But, I don't know, I'm enjoying it, but it's just, there's certain things which really annoy me. One thing that really annoys me is the way that you often get zero context for anything. That's going on, at all. I mean, to be fair, I haven't really been following the story enough. That is my fault, because I've been streaming
Matt, it's a perfect time for the question you wanted to ask James that we were talking about in the car yesterday.
Yeah. So, James, can you explain what's happened in the story up to now?
That's quite difficult.
Give it a go. Give it a go. I want to hear you trying to explain the plot.
Okay,
what's happened so far.
What I think has happened so far.
Tell us everything you think you understand about the game so far.
Okay, so Ethan lost one child to negligence. Two children to negligence. but the second one may not have been his fault, because it looks like it was kidnapped by somebody. So that's that.
Mm-hmm. Then, looks like it was kidnapped. Okay, you've got no emotional connection to anything.
Nothing with this at all. Especially, I mean, did you see that video? The one that was shown, from underneath the grate, and the way he's talking, he's like, "Dad, help me," and it just sounds ridiculous.
What's he supposed to be doing?
It just put a bit more passion into it,
It didn't sound upset enough.
He
if
didn't.
you're going to be under a sewer drain, like, at least act like it.
The kids that I've put in sewer drains sound a lot more panicked than that.
And they weren't even getting paid.
So anyway, you got Ethan trying to find out whether Sean's been kidnapped, and obviously he's figured out that he has, because obviously he has, and now he's got to go through these. Well, no, because that wasn't entirely clear, like, for a while until he got that box that said, "I've got your kid," basically. And, like, before that, he could have just lost it. I mean, like he did the first one. Yeah. But anyway, so he's got this box, and then in the box he's got, like, all these origami things, and he's like, each of them is basically a test, isn't it? That he's got to do, and if he can sort of pass the test, then maybe he's got a shot at seeing his son again. This is the thing with that. Then you've got Scott Shelby on
no,
the
it hasn't. You've completely made that up in your head that that's going to happen. You've got no idea what happens when you pass the test.
What do you think the point is of each of the
That's what I'm
challenges?
assuming that's what the killer is indicating. Like, he's indicating the fact.
Okay. What do you think the point is? What do you think happens when you pass a test?
I don't know, because I haven't passed any of them yet.
Exactly.
That's a major blind spot in what you understand this game to be, James.
Yeah.
Major.
Okay, so you got that going on. Then you got Scott Shelby, who I still want to know who has hired him, going around trying to find who the origami killer is. And I don't. He's just randomly rocking up at places and just asking them, are you the killer or whatever. Then,
that's what detectives do. What do you want him to do? Show his license?
No, but that's the thing. There's no. He's not showing the thought process really about what's going on. That doesn't really happen so much. Then you got Madison. I don't know what she's for. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know what. Apart from the shower scene and all that kind of stuff, she's got trouble sleeping.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, she's got trouble sleeping, but I don't know why she's in this game. I don't know the point, apart from the fact that whenever Ethan does something particularly stupid that ends up with him getting really badly hurt, she patches him up badly.
Isn't that you badly, because I've never seen anyone foul so many QTEs in a computer game. It's unreal. Wasn't she a journalist? Isn't that?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I didn't notice that. It was.
I'll be totally honest. I'm struggling to remember why she was even involved.
Then you've got the suicide woman, who she's the one. No, because she's. But I'm not sure if she's the one. Is she the stripper from the beginning? The prostitute from the first episode.
No.
Okay, so she's another woman.
Yeah.
Why did
another woman?
So why did Scott Shelby go to her house? Why?
Right. Here's what I wanted to say. Yeah.
Also, before you do, yes, Madison is a journalist.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. I hope that isn't like a big plot reveal that we just spoiled. But I'm pretty sure that was early on. You're like my sister-in-law. I can't watch a film with her without her constantly questioning what's going to happen.
No,
No,
James,
it's fine. It's fine with that. I don't mind that in stuff generally. But in this, it just feels like there's a load of unconnected scenes that they're just sticking together. And I know the point, I'm hoping, the point is that it's all going to come together towards the end, and then there'll be some cohesion, it'll make sense. But I just feel that they could have, signposted it better, some things. Well, I mean, David Cage is really good at stating the obvious about certain things, but he's not so good at setting scenes, for why,
James,
what's going on here.
David Cage can only do so much, but if you purposely fail every one of the challenges in the game, it's very hard for him to say, oh, by the way, after that challenge,
you are missing massive plot points.
Yeah,
because
that's his fault then, isn't
it?
That's not my fault.
It is when you put the pad down and say, haha, I'm not even touching the pad. At one point you went, look, I've put down the pad and nothing, it's not affecting me in any way.
And then I said, oh yeah, I did actually mess that up. And
exactly.
Yeah, but the thing is, David, before we started this whole thing, before I started playing this, you had already said that David Cage had said that there's no wrong way to play this game. And that there's no, anybody can die, and it's whatever your experience is your experience. Well, this is my experience, and it's fucking disconnected and makes no sense. And it's the thing.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
But in the same Bruv, I mean, you are literally putting the pad down.
I did that once. I did that once.
Twice, because you also did that for the car driving scene. Where you
okay. I did it for that as well. But then, like, somebody in the chat, somebody in the chat was saying, like, you know, they've never been able to do that scene either. It's like really difficult to finish it or whatever. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to try harder when I play it next to try and beat one of those challenges because, you know, that was my fault.
Got a feeling when you beat one of those challenges, you are going to dread, like, you're going to go, oh, for fun, what have I been doing? I genuinely think you will. And when everything comes together at the end and you realise certain things, I mean, this game, one of the major complaints from people was that there are a lot of plot holes in it, and some of them a bit tenuous, and I still think can be explained, but we'll get there when you get there.
See, okay, because I've got other questions I've got about this. Why hasn't Ethan called the police? Right? Because as I recall, the killer has never said, "Don't tell anyone." Like he's never said that.
Do you think that the killer saying that to him would stop him going to the police?
Well, no, it probably wouldn't. But at least, like, what he's doing makes no sense. Why would he not be like passing on all this evidence to the police, like to help in the investigation?
It does make sense, but we can't talk about it yet.
See, also, why? Okay, so the other thing, no, but the other thing, like with the origami,
you don't need all the
right?
answers now.
No, but the
just
other
let
thing,
it ride out.
No, but okay, but the other thing with like the box is like, you know, he tips the box out and he's got all those pieces of paper which have got giving him instructions. Why does he do them one at a time? Why doesn't he just like open all of them, have a look at them, and see what the what's common amongst them and stuff like that?
It's Ethan's lack of efficiency that's really bugging James.
Yeah, that bothers me.
But I do kind of I agree with that. I haven't really got an answer for you for that. But what I will say is just keep playing, because I've got, right, in my head, and I don't want to say anything because I don't want to steer your thought process or ruin anything. I won't. But what I will say is that
I said don't say anything.
I know how you will react. No, I know how you should react when everything comes together. But I also think I know how you will react, which is wildly different to how you should react, and I will explain why you are wrong for reacting the way that you're inevitably going to react once you get to the end.
James, whatever you do.
Yeah,
I will say one thing, James, about these trials. So one of them, there's all this stuff with electric, like fences.
Yeah, I've got things about that because
you could have tried it, but you literally saw a door that says coward. You're like,
see,
you know what? I'm also walk through that door.
James is the massive coward.
No, because that annoyed me. That annoyed me as well because I didn't realise that by doing that it would be completely over. I thought I could just.
What do you think was going to happen?
I didn't know what was going on at that stage. I mean, he crawled through broken glass. He was already in a bit of a mess. I'd already electrocuted him once by accident. And I was just thinking, he's going to die. And then everyone's just going to be like, oh, you let him die. So I just thought, I can't do that. But my other question about that is that was a door that he just like walked out of, and then he was outside the factory. Why the fuck didn't he just walk in through that one in the first place rather than go through all the glass?
Maybe there wasn't a handle on that side.
Yeah. There might not have been a handle on that side because it was a fire exit door.
It didn't say coward on the outside, so you wouldn't have gone through it.
So yeah, B, how did he know he would end up in that room by crawling through the glass?
He didn't, and that's the other thing that was completely mental. Why would you do that?
The reason thing.
It doesn't make any sense.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Because you don't know what... this is it.
Because he's trying to get his son,
also,
James,
why would you crawl through glass when he could have just pushed it out the way or whatever? Like, if it's all glass on the floor, you don't just go, I think I better just crawl through all that. You'd just push it out the way.
I like the fact that you made him crawl through glass, like shred up his arms through this horrible place. And then just the moment you saw electricity, you were like, nah, coward.
No, but he already got electrocuted. I didn't want it to, get any worse.
Yeah, but his son is being held by a killer, and you're like, nah, I'll do another one. Sorry.
Well, you should have been.
Sorry, little Timmy. Sorry, Sean. Not now.
You should have been more careful in the first place.
Coward door.
Sorry, Sean, but I don't like static electricity.
Sorry, Sean, but my jacket's really ripped right now, so I'm just going to go back to my own hotel. I'm going to go to the cow door. Sean, I'll see you later.
Sean, sorry, Sean, I don't want to upset the audience.
If it turns out, if it turns out that Ethan himself is the killer, I'm going to be furious because I will be absolutely furious if that's the case. If it's like the blackouts and all that kind of thing, I'm going to be furious because
that's right.
Laziness.
Yeah, it does his whole memory loss thing. So it sort of implies that it could be him, doesn't it? Yeah.
It's laziness. If that's the case, I'm going to be furious. It's
we'll see. I cannot wait. I hope you fit. When's your next session? Because last night you were going. When we were talking about the bad internet problems, you were like, "Oh fuck it, all right, I can. Well, at least I get time to stream." And I'm thinking, well, at least he's doing something for the show, and then you didn't stream.
I watched Game
so
of Thrones.
when's your next one?
Probably tomorrow night, like Wednesday night.
So can you please stream after this episode goes out so we can actually get some people watching? Not like, I did it yesterday.
Well, no, I mean half the show's on Twitter, Matt, isn't it? As long as they're following us on there, then they'll be able to pick it up.
Good point.
Yeah,
I mean,
everyone just waits for the YouTube cut anyway.
Either because
it's only half of the people, yeah.
And also, by the time it goes out, it would have already happened.
I realised that when I was saying it.
Can I just ask one other question? Is Blake in it more? Like, is he going to be in it a bit more?
Yeah.
Because then, yeah.
I can't even think of the bit that Sean has sort of hinted towards several times, so I'm looking forward to seeing what that is.
Norman Jaden, though. What is that?
Norman Jaden. It's worth pointing out.
I didn't like the fact that James tried to rip off that bloke from YouTube by just putting down the pad during the chase scene and laughing. I was like, come on, James, we're supposed to be creating original content here.
That disappointed me, actually, because that scene, I had seen that clip, right, and it was amazing. Mm-hmm. And that's why I really wish I hadn't seen that before I played it, because then that would have been like much, much more enjoyable, that whole thing.
It was still funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. How far in am I to this?
I think 2/3.
Yeah, it's been such a long time, but I would say that, but it's hard to say.
Yeah, I can't give you a definitive answer.
You put like 4 hours into it so far, right?
Yeah, probably about that.
Yeah, it's not a long game, is it?
No.
But it is dense.
Okay, cool. I cannot wait to talk to you after you finished it, because there is so much to talk about that. I'm really excited for that. I can't wait to see how you respond to it all, but we'll get there. Okay, fine. Sorry, Sean, were you going to say something then?
Possibly, but I've forgotten what it was.
Good. Right. Okay. What was the other game?
The only other game I had was Death Squared, which is does anyone else know anything about this at all?
I read your review today.
Looks alright.
It's really good. I mean, it's a puzzle game, and as I said in the review, I really don't like puzzle games that much, but this one I really did enjoy. It feels. I mean, basically,
what platform is it on?
I played it on Switch, but it's available on I think it's on PS4, Xbox One, and PC as well. I think. But it's been out on that for a while, but it's just come to Switch. But, I mean, basically you control small robots and have to try and guide them to, like, a colour-coded exit. But moving the robots also affects the environment. So, like, as you move one robot, then maybe a laser will move and then, like, blast the other one or something like that. Or sometimes the two robots are, like, kind of connected to each other, so the movement that you use will sort of affect the other one, that kind of thing. And you play through, 80, story levels like this. And, I mean, I say story, but there is kind of actually a story kind of playing out in the background. And it's really very, reminiscent of Portal. Because you've got, this AI companion giving advice. But you're actually playing the parts of the robots, but then there's, this observer who's, watching what's going on, and they're having sort of, banter between each other. And it's actually really good. It's funny, and, it kind of works really well. I mean, the whole point, I think, is that you're supposed to play this with 2 people, or 4, because there's also a party mode. And so for the Switch, this is kind of ideal, because you can, obviously just give a remote to the other person, or, Joy-Con to the other person. I played it with my daughter, and it was, as I said in the review, it's a real, just exercise in frustration doing that. And it didn't last very long, because she wanted to play it, but she couldn't. Because it starts after about, sort of level 20, it starts to get a bit complicated, and she's got the control down, but she couldn't plan ahead, and I didn't get annoyed, obviously, but it starts to get a bit irritating. But
that's the thing, though, Shane. James, not obviously on that one. I imagine you going fucking mental.
Well, I didn't. But so then I tried to play it with my wife as well, but she hated it because she just doesn't. It's not specifically the game. She just doesn't like. She hates 3D in games. Like it makes her feel ill. And so, like when I first met her, she was watching me. She watched me play like Halo once. And then she played it a bit, and then she just went.
I was going to say,
no, this is not first date. This is after we've been together a while. But
she be the Master Chief.
She she played a bit of Halo, and then just went and threw up like violently because it just made her feel really ill.
Jesus!
So she really hated this. Like she really didn't like it at all, and she just found the puzzles kind of irritating. But I mean, the whole point is to just try and figure out like an optimal route, like to the exit. But the thing that I really liked about it is that it's not that kind of game where there's only like one way of doing it. You can kind of figure it out yourself, and sometimes it feels like you're kind of exploiting like glitches or whatever, but you're not really, because it's like kind of allowing you to do that. And it's got just this perfect difficulty curve as well, whereby like by the time I got to like level 80, I really felt like I'd sort of achieved something, like through playing through it. It's but it's fantastic, and I really wish that I could have played it. I mean, in the end, I ended up playing the whole thing on my own, controlling both of the robots, and even though obviously it's probably not quite the same, because I'd imagine, like, if you're playing this with another person, you're going to get into arguments and fights and stuff. But I just wish I could have played this in the party mode with like 4 people, because I think that would be insane with everybody trying to control these. But it's great. I'd really recommend it. It's a very, very good game. There you go.
Cool. Sounds all right. Okay, cool. We're on to questions now.
Okay.
Whoa.
Okay, so emails. First one's from David Baptiste. Hi, TCGS. As Matt is a bearded hipster in his 30s who won't grow up, I presume he's into wrestling. Who does he think will win the G1 Climax in New Japan this year? Will Kenny Omega retain? Will Naito have another run at Okada? Or will his finally be Ishii's year? So what do you think, Matt?
I've literally no idea. I don't really care for wrestling. I've watched a fair bit of UFC, but no, wrestling isn't. No.
Yeah, you see, I'd have thought that UFC would be more of a hipster kind of thing than wrestling.
No,
I don't know. Have you seen
no
Twitter?
Way.
No.
Yeah, no.
What,
UFC
is wrestling
definitely not.
hip? I mean, I just don't really. No.
Yeah, we've seen that tweet that
it.
surfaces every 6 months or so, where it's like, "Welcome to Twitter. Here's a copy of the fucking Marx's
No Mercy on 64,
and basically like a ticket to Raw for some reason. Communist Manifesto.
No.
That's it. Communist Manifesto and a ticket to Raw. That's you. Yeah.
I have. I've no interest. Sorry, Baptiste.
I have a feeling that Matt's seen so many hipsters complaining about football that he thought, well, it's very hipster to be into football, so now he's into football.
I fucking love
It's
soccer.
gone the other way.
But I'm really following the Austrian league this year, so it's massive.
It's not on TV.
Sorry to disappoint you, David.
James, read the room.
Okay.
Come on.
Now we've got tweets.
And the tweets. Here we go. 63 episodes.
Okay.
Wasn't there no, there was another email, wasn't there? There was a really long one.
There's only one here that Matt's put in.
Yeah, there's only. I mean, James didn't check, but there's only one that I saw.
No, there's definitely another one from John Heaney.
Oh, yeah, that came in today. Come on, James.
Okay. Okay, so tweets. Rakaku Police
Right, okay.
says...
we're not reading John's email then?
Well, I don't know, because it means I've got to open Gmail and paste it in.
Oh,
I don't want to do that.
You could just read the
Well,
email.
you can read
don't
it
have to put
directly
in
off
the
of
doc.
Gmail.
All right.
It doesn't have to be in the
I'm
doc.
such a knob. This is like...
Why
come
am
on,
I
it's
knob?
like 11:15. This is like...
How am I a knob? You're the one going, yo, what about John's
Well,
email? Yeah,
okay,
that come in
Matt,
today.
Matt just had a go at me.
tweets.
Matt just had a bit of a dig, saying that I haven't looked at the emails, which is true. But then he hasn't put this one in either, so it's kind of his fault.
So you're saying he's done half a job in doing your job for you? Is that?
Yeah,
what you're-
basically. Yeah, if he's going to
tweets.
if he's going to do my job, then he could have done a better. I don't know.
If we record, this is accurate up to yesterday before David's internet fell out
for
of his arse.
goodness sake, this is ridiculous. It's really long as well. Have I-
Go on.
Thanks for the email, John.
Okay, so I've got to read the whole of this, yeah? Okay. From John. Hi guys, long time...
Say it with passion, come on.
Hi guys, long time listener, first time mailer. This is so weird. I can actually hear Farley's voice in my head as I type this. Don't worry, James. Your actual voice, not Murray's rather cruel version. Anyway, I digress. Online gaming.
That.
No, don't do that.
Voice.
Can we just move? No, let's just get on with this. Otherwise, I'm going to get annoyed. Online gaming.
Past 11.
Go on.
Online gaming. I've literally fallen out of love with it. I currently, for the first time since the original Xbox, no longer have a PSN or Xbox Live subscription. The only thing that kept me paying for those, even for the final year or so, were the free games. But even those ended up rubbish, or shit rather. And I was literally, why did I just censor him? That makes no sense. I don't know why I did that.
You're way too into China at the moment. That's what it is.
No sense.
You're all about China.
Okay. But even those ended up shit, and I was literally just ticking the box and saving them to be able to download later, which I never did. It is annoying that I have lost access to some games like Rocket League, but for the money I'm saving, I may as well just buy that at some point and enjoy some split-screen gameplay with my son. I still love time trial challenges and leaderboards, etc., but it's the feeling of uselessness that playing online heaps on my shoulders that I can no longer stand. As an adult of 40 plus years, I can no longer dedicate large chunks of my life to getting good at games, and as such, being shot over and over again does get tiring after a while. Back in the Halo 2 days, Bungie seemed to get this right with their ranking score and being matched when possible against teams of a similar ranking, but it doesn't seem to be something that became the norm. I know some people deliberately ranked down so they could rinse noobs, but at least it was something. How do you guys find this, or you seem to have a fairly large group of people you play online regularly with to negate this? However, for those of us with smaller circle of online buddies, what do you think could be done to level the playing field for online play to make it more inclusive for all levels of ability? Oh, and add me up on disc driving, Teen Dog, as I started playing again recently after Murray mentioning it a few times, and I suck hard and I'm fed up getting beat by the same people over and over. Did you know you can actually change your ability and jump for shortcuts? That blew my mind when I discovered that yesterday, after around playing 100 games of it. Note to others, taking the time to watch the person you're playing last move is worthwhile. P.S. I didn't used to be shit. Elmo probably remembers me totally dominating him at Halo 2 tournament I organised in Bath many moons ago. That's from John.
I do remember competing in that tournament, and I do remember winning. So I don't know about this whole schooling me or whatever it was. I remember winning. I mean, granted, that was because we had the French version copied and played on my chipped Xbox about a month before that tournament started. I think that tournament was on launch day as well, so we had a bit of an advantage, but we absolutely bossed that tournament. So don't know what you mean by that, John. Firstly, I think if you still want the feeling of playing online with friends and you don't like the ultra competitiveness of most of the things, keep an eye out for like the more co-op based stuff.
Yeah,
because that is still
that's exactly what I do, because I rarely play like competitive, in fact, like ever, and everything I play now is pretty much just co-op with like a group of people. It's for me at the moment, it's just more fun because I don't have the time to be good at this stuff, and yeah, it's the
John,
better.
Destiny 2 is just round the corner, and that could not be more perfect for what you're looking for. Of course, it does have like the sort of online competitive stuff, but the vast majority of it is co-op play. And my God, does that co-op stuff work very, very well? That seems like if you wanted to get into it. I mean, if you're done with online gaming, that's not a problem. It must seem weird to have, because there's so many, you turn your console on now, and obviously I've had internet problems, and the amount of times you just look at the options and the amount of stuff that says, please connect to the PlayStation Network. And I'm like, oh yeah, shit, if you didn't play, like, that would be weird. I think you still see your friends list if you haven't got PS Plus, but that's still, a lot of stuff with like online leaderboards and shit. Not seeing that in game would be a bit weird these days. Yeah, it's hard to sort of, I mean, if you feel done with that side of gaming, that's not a problem. It's just about picking the right games to put time into. I mean, you look at games like The Witcher and Dark Souls and stuff like that, just like games that are going to take up a lot of your time. The part of me thinks it would be nicer to play games at my own pace rather than checking to see who's online and playing with them. It seems like more of a fun experience in certain aspects. I also, there's things like Rocket League. The matchmaking in Rocket League, I can't understate this enough. The matchmaking in Rocket League is so good. It's really good. You notice every time you move up a division, like it's a big deal. And when you move up there's like bronze, silver, gold and stuff, when you move from bronze to silver, you notice a huge difference. And if you're getting relegated out of silver, you probably deserve to be there. And when you're playing in bronze leagues, there's not people flying about all over the place, so it's still, good fun to play. You're not being put against like insanely good people. So Rocket League is perfect for stuff like that. But as I say, it's not essential. It's just something that you've done for a very long time, and maybe reconnecting with games is stepping away from that side of gaming. That's not a problem. And if the online stuff isn't just like a major thing for you, then get a Switch, because that's going to have an insane amount of indie stuff on it. Zelda is incredible, and when the majority of the Nintendo games that come out, I know that they're pushing online stuff with ARMS and Splatoon. There is no doubt going to be a lot of single player games on that thing, because they know that it's not always going to be connected to the internet. That's the console's design. So that's that's going to be a major thing.
Plus, he mentioned playing split screen with his son. The Switch is amazing for split screen stuff. So
I didn't even know that you could play Rocket League split screen.
Can you?
Can you do that?
Oh yeah, shit.
But that's what he says. So if I didn't know you could do that, but I mean, Rocket League on Switch, it's got local multiplayer where you could just connect the switches. That is going to be a bit of a game changer for me and my friends, because when we get together, even if it's just one-on-one, playing Rocket League like that is definitely going to be done. So it's perfect.
I think it's got a point with the matchmaking. I remember back in the day, it felt like matchmaking properly works. I'm sure it does work. I'm sure it works now, but it feels like if I don't play a game for a while, when I go on, I just get crushed. And if matchmaking's working perfectly, I shouldn't be having that worry. I should just be match made with people of the same level. So
but it's a numbers game though, isn't it? If you're playing the game 6-7 months down the line, how many people that are playing online have bought that game recently? And they're at that level where they're essentially starting out. So it depends how popular it is. Rocket League is insanely popular and people peeking it. Like, it's always in the top 10 of the charts. So
that's why things like the first week of Destiny is always brilliant, because everyone's still working out what the weapons are, what systems are. That's why it always, like, the first weeks of a multiplayer game the first week probably is always the most exciting, because it feels like a total free for all. Whereas after a week or so, people know the meta, people know how to play it. Some people probably book the whole week off work to cane it. So the first week's always brilliant in that respect.
That's why you got to get it day one, James.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I don't know. Okay, tweets. Can I move on to that now?
Fucking hell.
Yeah, you done with that one.
Disdain for that.
Fine.
Jesus.
No, it's. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to get Destiny or not. I'm still really in two minds about it. I'm just not sure.
Yeah, you're in Destiny 2 minds. Just get it.
Rukaku Police says. You see, this is the thing. It's like. It's 25 past
what's
11.
The thing? I say I don't want Destiny 2 and suddenly people make trumpet noises. That's the thing.
That's the thing,
I've heard it once, I've heard it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
No, it gets to like this time and it's like the trumpet noises come out and it's just...
Have you played Juiced?
Yeah. Oh, there we
go. Come on.
Rukaku Police says, Dr. Farley, what's your funniest story from when you lived in China? I don't know. I mean, David, what?
Oh man, this is perfect for you.
What have I told you that's been funny? Because I can't remember. It's been a while. Nothing?
Next question. Sorry, mate. Who asked that question?
No, because the thing is, right, if I start talking about this, you just start saying boring, move on, and that. So
well, don't be boring. This is quite an interesting one.
It's not really interesting. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, we might have to bleep this out, I'm not sure. But wasn't there a story where you were running and people were convinced you were from the poor part of town and they were shouting things at you?
Well, that used to happen quite a lot, like where I live, because... see, I don't want to get into this because it's like a whole thing with like ethnic groups.
Who asked this question?
Rukaku Police.
Right. I am so sorry. I mean, what you've done is you've sent in what I think is a quality question. When I saw that come in, I was like, oh, this is good.
If I'd started talking about this, you'd have had a go. If I'd have done this.
No, if you'd have started talking about the Chinese economy, then I might have had to cut you off. But this is what's the funniest thing that's happened to you while you're in China. There's surely an anecdote there. But James has checked out. I mean, I don't know what's... his commitment to the show recently has frankly been disgusting. And what is the point in you being here anymore?
I could be streaming.
What is the point?
I could be streaming right now instead of doing this.
You're not on our channel.
He's got YouTube friends now.
I am so sorry that you didn't get a decent answer to that. James, I don't know what sort of mood he's in. It's shocking.
It's late
feel
and the
free to
trumpet
tweet
noises
him.
have come out.
Feel
It's like, you know...
free to tweet him to say that his performance is not acceptable.
When is appraisal time?
Yeah,
It's come up, isn't it? Dave, when was the funniest story from when you lived in China?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Matt. I really can't be bothered. There's been a trumpet noise. I really can't be bothered anymore. There's been a trumpet noise. Oh, there's an email, was there? Well, let's ignore that. There's been a trumpet. Oh, look how long it is.
To be fair to James, he made it quite clear he didn't even want to be here this week.
He did. He really did. Next question.
Okay. Lion Stud says, the last final boss you fought in game now wants a real life rematch. You fight them with your bare hands. Do you survive?
Oh, fuck.
Of course not.
Yeah,
Of course
generally
not.
speaking, no. I think Shadow of Mordor was the last thing I finished, so absolutely not. Big fucking orc lad.
Think of any boss that you could beat with your bare hands. There isn't one.
The end of the first level in Earthworm Jim 2 where you fight Bob the Goldfish. And,
I don't know.
And you just pull him out of the tank and eat him. It's good.
I reckon I could take Birdo from Super Mario Brothers 2.
Bullshit.
I think I could just kick it, couldn't you? It'd be fine.
It?
Yeah. Or okay.
Fucking hell, James. At least go for they if you're not sure.
It's a dinosaur. No, what is it? It's not a dinosaur. It's a fictional creation, Sean. It doesn't matter.
Sean, it's drowning, so I'm just going to walk out the coward door. It's drowning. Okay. I'll just walk out the coward door. Yeah, no, I can't think of a single boss that I could beat with my own hands. So the answer to your question is definitely no. Next question.
Adam Holy Moses says, hi, as a tired and chubby dad of a 16-month-old, I'm considering stopping following what happens in games. I don't have time anymore. All I do is buy games that I'll not play, as I have a maximum 1 hour every day or so. Is there a risk, though, that I'll end up out of touch? I'm buying really shit games for my kid instead of bleeding edge indie and Demon Souls equivalents I aspire to him playing. Basically, is it possible for you to achieve a quick 5-minute summary of good games every few months so I can listen retrospectively?
No, just listen to the full show. I don't know what. We're not going to do a personal podcast for you telling you what games you should pick up that month.
Well, unless you want us to do a Patreon and pay us, then yeah.
Look at that, the way he said pay us. With such a spat on his mic then. I don't know. It's okay to be out of touch with things for a little while and just know the fact that gaming is always here for you when you're ready to return. We must have all gone through phases where we haven't played much, haven't we?
Oh yeah, definitely. And the good thing about that is if you are playing things late, like they've had all their patches and they're not broken messes and they're super cheap. And like Sean played Shadow of Mordor the other week, and I'm sure that's cheap and that's a brilliant game.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
I tell you what. If you do want a summary like that every now and then, the best way to do it, like, set a reminder to email in every month or so and ask us, and we will definitely tell you what the best games that month were.
Yeah, for sure.
Set the reminder on your iPhones now. Good.
I mean, equally, I think it could be quite liberating just not giving a shit.
I wish I could do that, but no chance.
Like, there's a lot to be said. Like, do you know what I've never played and I never will? Fallout 4. Right? Because I was nearly going to get it just before it came out, and then it came out, and then after about a week, no one was talking about it. And I was just like, you know what, that was quite easy. I did it. I was thinking, oh man, everyone's going to be banging on about it for months and telling me how good it is, and no one did, really.
Because it weren't really that good, Sean.
Yeah, so it's just like, maybe not buying everything is an option.
It is an option.
I will say, with the whole 1 hour every day thing and being a dad, like, if you want to play games as a dad, you've just got to lose out on sleep. That's the only way you can do it.
Oh yeah, totally.
And play on
Absolutely.
a handheld, like play Switch games or whatever, and stuff like that.
Ignore your
That's
children.
the answer to
That's a big one.
Default answer to all our questions these days is get a Switch.
Yeah.
They're doing something right, Nintendo, aren't they? Okay, yep.
Andy Wood says, worst voice acting in a game. Mine's Perfect Dark on N64.
Heavy Rain's got to be there,
Resident
hasn't it?
Evil.
Yeah.
Heavy
Heavy
Rain.
Rain.
No,
Heavy
it's
Rain is
not
very
bad
bad.
in that. Well, it is bad, but it's intentional.
Well, because
No,
a lot of that
is it
comes from the
intentionally
fact
bad?
that he had a lot of like European actors doing American accents.
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
That's where Nam and Jaden comes from. The guy's English, so so there's a lot of that which doesn't help. I mean, obviously, there's only so much you could do with the script as well. But
We've lost him.
there's actually, I remember a friend of the show, Gary Dutton, linking me to. There's a video of some of the when they were casting for Heavy Rain.
Oh, I've got to see this.
Oh mate,
Oh.
there's this one woman and she's so fucking bad. It's like excruciating to watch. I'll have to dig it out and send it to you guys.
Oh, you've got. Yeah, I want to see
yeah.
that. Definitely. Okay, cool. Should we do one more?
Oh, you do this on purpose now, aren't you? You're just
I
doing
do.
it.
Yeah.
Just make
We've got loads
That and
left.
because you checked out about half an hour
We've got
ago.
loads left. Carry on.
Okay. James McCall says, when you were younger, what was the first game that you spent serious amounts of time on? For me, it was Super Mario World.
God.
Unirally.
Alex Kidd?
Yeah,
On
mine was
Master
definitely Alex Kidd in Miracle World.
Yeah,
I spent
put
years
a lot
on
of
that.
time into that.
I remember Unirally was the first game that I just finished without using any cheats. So yeah, definitely spent a lot of time on that.
I still have never done that.
Oh, I mean, there are loads, and it's probably before I had memories. So
I'm sorry, what? what does that sentence mean?
You're going to say
Well,
Crash
there's-
Bandicoot, aren't you? It's
you can only think back so far in your life, can't you?
Discord.
You
yeah.
don't
But I
remember,
didn't
like,
finish any
popping
games
out?
before I was 4, Dave.
yeah.
I did.
Did he say you had to have finished them?
No, just
Oh,
said the
sorry,
first
yeah,
game you
yeah,
spent
game you
lots
spent
of time
loads
Yeah,
of
on.
time on.
exactly.
Yeah, sorry,
Exactly. So listen to the question, guys.
Fuck.
But the first one I really remember putting time, because I had an Atari STE and I had Atari 2600, and I remember playing games like an insane amount on those things. But the one that I clearly remember putting an insane amount of hours to is Sonic 2 on the Game Gear, plugged into the wall, sat in the corner, just looking down and playing that. And then there was things like Quake was the Quake Team Arena was like the first time I was like, okay, this is serious now. And then like football games, the amount of football games that I put an insane amount of time into growing up. I remember completing Banjo-Kazooie 25 times. You know, there's
Sounds
a
like
string of
bullshit.
games. What do you mean?
25 times. What you
I assume he was overstating for emphasis.
No, 25.
Oh,
I
okay.
remember literally the number.
Can you
That's
smell the
fucked
bullshit,
up.
Sean? Yes, you can.
And
It's a shame you
because
couldn't have streamed your 25th one, Dave. It was,
yeah, I would've
Okay,
fucked it all
Dave,
right up.
have you got achievements? You can't prove it then. Forget it.
No, I do remember playing that much, and then GoldenEye, a ridiculous amount. But Banjo-Kazooie, you could complete pretty damn quickly if you just knew where to go. It was like games done.
I was going to say, you're going to be on it next year. I think you should apply.
That video that I sent you of that Mirror's Edge, if you
Oh,
haven't
so
seen
good.
the Mirror's Edge glitchless run from Summer Games Done
pretty
Quick,
certain it's fine. Yeah, it's okay.
It's not my fault.
Yeah.
that's not my fault, so I could do that. Watch that. It's funny and cringy and beautiful. Some people were saying that it was all set up. It doesn't matter. For me, it was funny regardless. Watch that. Watch that.
Come on, James.
Read the room.
Well, because Dave, you said you
Just
wanted
carry
just
on.
one more.
Ignore
And
him.
Matt
And-
overruled me, which he seems to be doing a lot recently.
Yeah, well,
Matt
that's what
needs to get
happens.
himself in check.
No one else
Matt,
cares
you
about this
keep-
section. I do. People spend
You
time
keep to the
writing questions
tweets.
in.
I'll keep to the show, all right?
Okay, but am I continuing
James,
with
just
what they
keep
are in
reading
order,
the questions.
We're
Am I
doing
doing-
one more.
we're staging
Is it
a
one
coup.
more? Okay. So, okay,
Last one.
Sean, who's right? Is it Matt or Dave?
Mate, I
It's
have
Matt.
no idea.
Who's the main one?
In all
One
this
more.
time, James, you could have read 3 questions.
Matt, it's time to get back in your box. Last question.
Okay.
Keep reading,
Bovril
James.
Levine says, if the Twitter is 50% of the show, what percentage of the show is the show, and what percentage of the show are the streams?
I can't
Good
believe
question.
you picked that one.
That's the one I would have chosen. Good question.
Next question.
Have I got to do another one?
Answer the man.
Yes, you've got to do another one as punishment for picking that one.
Okay, Jordan
Sorry,
Dowling
Chris.
says, loving the podcast. Question for the pod. Have you ever played the PS1 game D? I remember really enjoying it.
No.
No.
Next question.
Another question,
no.
please, James.
One more question.
Okay.
Can we answer Chris's question?
Eh?
No.
Which one's
No.
that? Yeah, he's the one. Okay. So, Mr. Turch
Okay.
says, how about your favourite DLCs? Also, David Turner has played 7,000 games of threes in 60 episodes.
Yeah, I had, and I worked it out. That's 100, I think it was 100, just over 100 per episode that I put in. It's scary. What favourite bits of DLC?
The
Jesus,
Lost in the
there's
Damned,
been.
that was brilliant. For
Yeah.
GTA 4.
And the
That was
Ballad
brilliant.
of Gay Tony, man. They were both excellent.
Yeah.
Yes,
Also good.
I
yeah.
preferred Lost and Damned to Ballad of Gay Tony, but Ballad of Gay Tony was still very, very good. I really liked obviously Hot Wheels. I think is up there for Forza. Every map that come out for Return to Castle Wolfenstein on the original Xbox
Yeah, they were
felt like such a huge event. It was insane because there wasn't a lot of online games at the time, and we've mentioned it before. It was sort of a floating community, Xbox Live at that time. It wasn't this service where just people were just playing games on it. It was like, oh my god, the next Xbox Live game is out in a month. This is going to be huge. And then it would come out and everyone would move to that game. And with Returns to Castle Wolfenstein, they released, I think it was 4 free maps.
Yeah.
But there was about 3 months between them. And every time a new one come out, it just felt like this massive event. It was so much fun back then. Properly good. And yeah, I remember some of them, like some of those maps, like the back of my hand. There was one with the safe down in the middle with the electricity around it, and I've just remembered when that came out, and it was even introducing new mechanics into the whole thing. It was like, whoa, this is massive. Now you'd have to pay like 15 quid for it on a season pass. Bad times.
Yeah.
Sean, you probably got a good answer for this.
Do you know, it might be fucking No Man's Sky. I mean, it's not DLC, is it? It's just patches, but it was significant updates that, like, 'cause I really wasn't keen at first. But
weren't you there for the first time that the Dark Souls DLC hit?
I just, shocking admission, never played the DLC for the first Dark Souls.
Whoa!
Yeah.
And people rave about that thing.
I know. But it was one of those ones where, like, I'd finished the game, so I'd have to basically play half of it again to access the DLC, and just, never got around to it.
Yeah. That's a hard sell.
Shiter.
Matt?
I mean, I loved Taken King in Destiny. That was awesome.
Oh shit! Yeah, that was just
in terms of ones I've actually played.
Sort of DLC.
I've left behind to play recently. I really like that. Everyone raved about Undead Nightmare. I never played it for Red Dead.
Oh yeah.
I said, because I reviewed that, and I remember saying that the genius of that was that it put you back in a world that you were insanely familiar with. It felt like a Halloween episode of your favourite TV show where they've just gone off completely off the rails and said, what would happen if zombies were there? And it put all the characters that you've grown to love, who were deadly serious in the normal game, put in this sort of comedy setting based around zombies. It was very, very good. Very good. Yeah, I approve. I approve of that Red Dead Redemption DLC. It's good. James?
As I said, just the only ones I could really think of that really I thought were fantastic were like The Lost of the Damned and Ballad of Gay Tony.
It's a real shame there wasn't a single-player DLC for GTA 5, but I guess they're making so much money with GTA Online. Like, what's the point?
I still think just put something out there.
It
would be nice.
Afford it.
No. Alright. Okay, well that's it for this week. That's all you're getting. I think it's been a very good show. If you don't think that, then...
Tell James.
Come on, mate. Yeah, tell James for his lack of effort. I mean, total lack of effort.
That's complete nonsense. I've read all this stuff. Yeah, I did that.
But you've got one job, and that's to copy and paste the tweets and emails in. Matt's done that for you.
No, not one
and
job.
then you
I've got to read them
about
as
it.
well, and then I have to take all your abuse.
No.
Should we next week? Should we have a switcheroo? So me and James swap jobs.
No, I don't want to do the.
Oh,
No.
How
I
about
don't
we
want
have
to
a
do the news.
switcheroo where James and someone decent swaps into the podcast? I think that might be the.
I absolutely am
do
not
it.
doing the news. I'm not going through that again. It's it was awful last time.
Matt,
I
what
think
should
I
people
should
do
do
on
the
the internet
questions.
this week?
I think I should do questions next week. Because at
All
least I'll
right, you
read
do
them
the
all.
questions next week. All right,
And
fine.
James hosts.
Okay, yeah, James should be the
Sean
host.
does news.
Not unless I cut you off.
You're always trying to get in my stuff, Matt. It's like you're always trying to.
No,
What does that mean?
you've said that before. No. So James hosts. Dave does news, and I do questions.
That sounds awful.
Best show
James
ever.
hosting.
Look,
Leave off. No one's going to listen.
Anyway,
Matt, what should people do on the
if
internet?
people have got beef with this show, email thecomputergameshow@gmail.com or hit us up on Twitter. We're at ComputerGamePod, or just leave us a review on iTunes and tell us what we need to do to improve the show. That'd be brilliant.
More trumpet
10
noises.
readers reviews on iTunes. It's just people saying, that's all right, but if you did that a bit better, it'd be awesome. So yeah, hit us up on there. We're on YouTube, obviously. We've put out a fair bit of stuff this week. So we've got a super hot stream. We've got James's Heavy Rain stuff. We've got Dave's hilarious threes live stream, which you've got to watch. Just search us on YouTube. We're also on Twitch, which is where you'll see James's stuff when he does it each week. Again, just search the Computer Game Show on there, and we're on all other podcast services known to man.
I will do my my semi-regular segment where I tell you to please tell your friends about us, because it's really important that we spread the word. We're doing really well at the moment in terms of the amount of people listening, and that's really flattering. But the more exposure, the better. And so if you post on a forum and people talk about games, whack a little mention on there for us. If you know people, just tweet them and that.
Or
text your mum.
if you know a massive celebrity, tell them about the show. Just
Yep.
if the Rock
If you know a
can tweet
massive,
about
if
us.
you know James Corden,
Yeah.
say, hey,
Or Jimmy Fallon, The Rock, any of them. If The Rock
Any
tweeted
of
about
those
this, I'm
guys.
pretty chuffed.
Prince William,
George
Take
Takei,
Twitter.
just let them know.
he knows what's up.
If Trump tweeted about us, well, how would you feel?
Sad.
Sean?
I'd want to stop the show.
I
Yeah.
feel sad.
You know,
But if he was, if you tweeted that as like, these guys know their shit.
I'd be like, yeah, actually, maybe he ain't that bad. Thanks for living it. We'll see you next week.
And then
Goodbye.
you said the stuff I said this week was bad, and you come out with that. It's just awful.
Trust me, I could have replaced Trump with Hitler, and it still wouldn't have been as bad as your performance this week, Sean, James.
Oh, you fucked it there, Dave. End of the show. Goodbye, everyone.